Moments ago, went through their usual pregame ritual, although there's nothing usual about a Game 7.
What time is it? Game time!
And welcome to Game 7, everybody.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Game 7 Podcast. This is episode 2. Here with my man Mike, a.k.a. Santana the Great, sipping on some. What you sipping on, man? Why?
Sierra Nevada, Torpedo IPA. A little IPA beer.
You know what I'm saying? We're here with Pat. I think he here. Great White Hope. He might be letting the people down right now. What's up, Pat? Where you at? All right. Anyway, so continuation kind of sadly from last week. Everybody know White Claw. Yo, what's wrong with that man?
White Claw.
Hey.
Seltzer beer.
I know, right? He drinking that White Claw. Anyway, sadly or disappointingly or whatever the word is, we are still having to deal with and address the current state of the culture. Black Lives Matter, all lives matter, police brutality, and so on and so forth. No, we did not expect it to go away. No, we are not tired of addressing it. It's just, for obvious reason, it's a shame that we even have to continue to do this. That being said, I guess while we wait on Pat, how you doing over there, Santana?
Oh man, I'm great. Just got through streaming live on Mixer, running on Warzone as always. Same old man, I'm great, man. Alive. Woke up black and alive. I'm good.
Sipping. Ooh, look at him. IPA. Yo, we really did lose him already. He gone.
Oh man, his face is still here though.
Somehow. But it's not on the stream though. It's on our shit, but it's not on the stream.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Like he added it. Look.
There you go. All right.
He got that T-Mobile service.
Get your shit together, Patrick.
They said nobody. Look.
I heard the beat.
Let's see.
I was like, hey, what's good, y'all?
There you go, brother.
I'm tagging everybody. I had a lot more people to tag about. I hear y'all talking in the background.
Oh,
so I appreciate you guys. Appreciate you, Dwight, my brethren.
What's up,
White, brethren, Mike.
You.
What you been sipping on over there, Pat?
I drank a little bit Merlot earlier, a little bit of wine. So I'm drinking coffee now. I'm sobering up a little bit. Talk to you guys, trying to be a little more clear-headed.
Okay. Well, listen, nice to, finally talk to you. I know we see each other on Facebook and Instagram.
Hey, man. A lot of love. I appreciate you, man. Forever grateful.
You be going hard for the culture. You feel me? Tell the people about yourself a little bit or whatever. I don't know. Introduce yourself.
Yeah. I'll definitely introduce myself. So, as you know, my name is Patrick Cusack. I'm 32 years old. We from the Go. You already know. Southside.
Hey.
So, but when I grew up though, I grew up in my family. I was actually born in Oakland High School, right? When we was born, me and my twin brother, we was the last of the five, right? We was the last of the five. So you guys know, right across the border of Chicago, Indiana border is way cheaper. So we moved across the border to Northwest Indiana, where I grew up. It's predominantly white area. When I say predominantly white, we talking about the white nationalists, very extreme.
You talking about that area that we hate traveling through and stopping to get gas. It's a few of them.
Yeah,
you be on
Dwight,
the road like, God, don't touch
the tour fields, Dwight.
Yeah. It's a few of them. I remember being in the military and when I would come home, it was a few of those spots that we was like, nah, we can't stop here for gas. Nah, it's not happening.
Yeah, man. Like, exactly. Especially like Knox.
Yeah, like okay.
When you know.
That's what you said.
Yeah. So that's where I grew up. I predominantly my whole life I grew up in one of those areas. But thank God for my father. he raised me right. My family, they still in Southside today. So you already know we engulf that. So moving forward, so I grew up in a predominantly white area, very ignorant, narrow-minded, Republican flag, the Confederate flag. Let's say it right, the Confederate flag. So when I went to college on a scholarship to wrestle, I went to Minnesota. It's the first time I actually met Black Americans, African Americans, right? Then I met West Africans, international students.
Okay.
So meeting them, they educated me on white privilege. They educated me on racism because I didn't realize it. I'll admit it. I didn't realize it. I didn't see.
How old were you when you got this education?
18. I was young. I was 18. But the crazy thing is though, when I went to Minnesota, I was around all these my fellow white folks. I was uncomfortable because I wasn't used to that ignorance. You feel me? I was used to, like, my father. We used to go South Side all the time. We kicked to the South Side. The White Sox. Y'all know that. We Southsiders.
Oh, yeah.
So I was comfortable going to South Side. I was comfortable being around that area, right? So I was very comfortable. So when I went to Minnesota, a rural area, and then when I started hearing that predominantly small town views, I told my teammates, I told my coach, I'm not comfortable around these people. It doesn't make sense to me. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it just doesn't make sense. So I feel like you just gravitate, right? Like, it just makes sense. So when I went around, I met Chi-Town folks, I met people that was cultured. So then they started educating me. They started teach me what it is of how they dealt with racism. They taught me how to recognize, and I guess what we want to say is that passive aggressiveness, that passive racism, right? So I was 18 years old, and then I met my best friends. They're from the Gardens, Dwight.
Okay.
They've been to G.
Hey, I'm gonna back up. I'm gonna stop you for a minute. That passive aggressive racism shit is like it's like what I touched on before. It's the it's the equivalent of telling us and making us feel that Boys in the Hood or Juice or something like that is terrible, but a Western movie is somehow glorified, and it's the same context. It's just a different setting and a different environment, and they do this shit a lot, right? So people like to talk to you that I'm like, if I said I'm not a criminal, I'm not a criminal. I'm not a criminal. I just did a criminal activity. There's nobody listening. All Lives Matter culture would like to say, well, what about black on black crime, or what was he doing to get stopped, or maybe, or looking at his rap.
Oh, man.
And the passive aggressive shit to that is, well, you're not a killer, you're not a murderer, you're a cop. You know what I mean? You only did it once, or saying that all cops aren't bad due to the fact that one bad seed. Like, you can't then be accepting of one thing and not the other. You know what I mean? Like, it's a context thing. I've seen a lot of people doing that All Lives Matter thing. I've seen a lot of people trying to preach that, and it's like nobody's saying your life doesn't matter. But like the analogy I said earlier, if I'm in the ER, my child is in the ER, and it's urgent, and I'm telling you, hey, get a doctor. We need help. And a doctor or a nurse comes to me, or the staff in the hospital comes to me and say, well, sir, it's a lot of children here. They all need help. Nah, man, like now you can prioritize. You can absolutely prioritize and deal with this one. This is a little bit more upfront and urgent and needs a little more attention at the moment. Then you can, go ahead and move on to the other thing. But I feel you. Go ahead.
No. You make an absolutely great point. The point being is, and I want to piggyback on that. The reason why, in my opinion, because Mike knows I've been battling for years. I've been, and I don't want no trophy. I don't want no social media validation. So a lot of my fellow white folks, they have a hard time acknowledging white privilege. The reason why they have a hard time acknowledging white privilege is they're going to say, well, my life isn't easy. I have a hard life. I wasn't rich.
Yeah.
And this is the reason, this is the most important thing I can say about that. White privilege does not equivalent to a bank account. White privilege equals that your life was not hard because of the color of your skin.
Right. What it is
you didn't have no extra barriers
because you're white. See, white privilege is it's subtle and it's upfront for black folks. Like for me, Santana, it comes in the form of understanding that there's only a few of us, or like Santana drove trucks and I drove trucks. I was also military, but if you look at the ranking and you look at the high ranking, you look at money, you look at owners, you look at all of the head start that you had financially, even with black businesses and the statistics that come with that, that's white privilege. That's understanding that
100%,
in the ownership position, in the ownership position, or learning or being able to own businesses or being passed down certain knowledge, certain wealth, certain connections, so on and so forth. I'm looking around as I'm driving trucks and or even starting a business. And the fact of the matter is, I don't have a person in my family or friends that I can call for a business.
And do I you know what that's called? That's called legacy. White people has legacy.
Yeah.
Black Americans don't. Black Americans only had rights since 1965. That means Mike and Dwight, your parents were born without rights.
I'm big about context. I don't mean to cut you off. I'm big about context.
Yeah.
Because for me, we were born with rights. We are mind controlled into thinking we have to ask for these things. Like, you'll learn from me, my biggest pet peeve of all of this is I'm not one of those people that are going to march and ask you for what I was born with. If I meet you head on, we can have this discussion, and I don't know how it's going to go, but what I can tell you is I'm never asking anybody, black, white, male, female, president, burger flipper, to respect me or give me some shit that I was born with. Your money's your money, your finances, your finances. What comes with freedom and what you were born with and your rights, we all were born with that. Those state of rules, like they say, and you hear it all the time, we got to remember that slavery was legal. But I was born, I had a choice. I was born free.
You was born that, but your parents weren't.
No.
And that's the problem.
No. I'm adding this to context. They were born free. They were free when they were born. They were legally.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? They were legally slaves or whatever the case was, but they were born free. That was their unalienable right as a person. What it is we have people in power, and what happens with the marching and the rest of this, and again, the context, the things that we're talking about is like me right now saying, hey man, I'm your boss. You have a choice right now to be like, all right, well, what do you want me to do? Or you be like, fuck, you bleed like I bleed. We were born free. The law's a law, and there are a lot of people that get blinded by that. The bottom line is they enslaved us and all that head start and legacy and everything. We were born a certain way. And even to this day, marching, rioting, and asking, I can't keep saying that, like asking a judicial system, a government to give us what we were already born with, gives them the power.
I like that.
That in itself is white privilege. Why am I asking you for some shit?
Because you shouldn't. There's no asking. There's no asking.
It doesn't make sense to me. Like, and that's
it doesn't because like you shouldn't ask me to go to bed. You know what I'm saying? No. You shouldn't ask me to walk down the street.
Absolutely. But and just to put that in context, if I was to label you the president right now, then suddenly I'm supposed to listen to you. You understand what I'm saying? Like, that's the mental block that goes into people, and our people are thinking
100%.
like, yo, you know what I'm saying? Right now, you're Pat, we cool or whatever. But if for some reason you become the president tomorrow, that statue or that title somehow entitles you to rule over me? No. If anything, you're supposed to represent us. You're supposed to be
best fit the needs of everyone, not just one specific race.
Right. But again,
and that's the problem.
Just to back up, that's what I'm saying. That's what privilege is, because we don't
100%.
have them. We have a handful of people that are leaders in our black community. Sadly, we got like, and if I named it, it'd be like Oprah, it'd be like Jay-Z or some
Jay-Z,
LeBron James.
LeBron James.
You look at.
Rest in peace, Kobe. He was one.
Oh man.
Well, I mean, right, but I mean, like right now, if you're looking
Right
for
now.
somebody to represent us, the Dave Chappelle's and shit like that, if you're looking for them, if you look at them financially and status wise, you got to think about that. Jay-Z has, you're like Jay-Z has to answer to somebody. And what I mean by that is somebody paid him at some point. Same with LeBron. Like LeBron James has a certain amount of money and a statue to us, and we look up to him. He's a leader. But the fact of the matter is, LeBron James can't do what Jerry Jones does. He can't go and spend.
I like what you said, right? I like it. Can I chime a little bit?
Go ahead.
Can I chime? So you just said the most important thing. You said money, right?
Wealth, yep.
And that's the problem, right? We're still behaving like a capitalist society right now. We're still thinking that who has the most money can be the biggest leader. And that's the number one.
Respect. Money, power, respect.
Yep, and that's the problem.
That's the thinking. Yep, you're absolutely right.
Because don't need it. You know what I'm saying? Like right now, we have the perfect momentum. We got the perfect energy right now to new black leadership. See,
forget black, and forget about black, but you're right. Like the momentum right now says a couple things, and the momentum right now is just like what we've always said about democracy. How can you be a democracy for the people, by the people, run by the people, and whatever, and the people don't have a voice in it? It's the same shit right now. Like right now, he said you need a microphone. Somebody named Wesley said you need a microphone, bro. But yeah, right now with the momentum, what you're gonna see is you're gonna see the companies apologizing and the companies catering to whatever. But
they're saving face. They're saving face.
Absolutely, and there's nothing wrong with that, except again, if we're still talking money, I've said this before. If we're still talking at the end of the day, we're talking companies, we're talking money, we're talking wealth, we're talking power. The bottom line is America is a pinball game. And everybody's putting their money into this pinball game, playing by their rules, playing the game that they set up. And the high scores are literally staring you in the face. The people with the most money are literally staring you in the face. You're looking at it, you're trying to reach it, and you're continually feeding it. Your time, your energy, your money, your enthusiasm, all of this, hoping that you can somehow get on this board, somehow make a change and whatever. And the second you get close to it, they unplugged this son bitch. But the bottom line is it's rigged. Like you're never gonna get that high score. The only way, me personally, I've said it before, the only way that I feel any of this changes is to shift into, like, you gotta have a reset button. You gotta have a reset button. As long as they control
it's a lot of work. Yes, absolutely. It's going to have a reset button. It's not a sprint. It is not a sprint.
No, not at all. But it can be. It can be.
No, because the reason why it cannot be a sprint, because everything you said, I trust me, I agree. But the reason why it cannot be a sprint, we have to force new leadership. And how do you do that, Dwight and Mike? How do you force new leadership?
The first way you force leadership is to show the past leadership. Well, first of all, you got to get rid of the past leadership, and you got to start a completely different set of rules and whatever. But just like anything that you've ever seen, the first thing you have to do is show that the next leader, we're not gonna tolerate what the last ones did, and the rest of that. Like that's the first way that you do that. And again, if we're built on
and how do you get that new leader in? By voting.
Oh, see, that's what I'm saying. That's what I say again.
You have to vote.
Right? Yeah, you gotta, like, let me chime in. Like you gotta vote. But honestly, like in my head, it's honestly for us to even get up there, to even climb that ladder, yo, you gotta hit the first rung on the ladder. We got to start local, yo.
Well, no. Listen. I don't disagree with you. Let me put it in context. I don't disagree with you, but I think we're saying the same thing, but two different things. What I'm saying is the vote continues to go with the system that we're used to. I'm saying you got to tear that whole thing down.
Mm-hmm.
You can't.
No, follow.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh yeah, we're all on the same page. It has to be reformatted. It has to be reformatted. Absolutely.
And after you tear it down, then yes, you find somebody. You vote. The people vote in somebody mutually, within the needs of the people. But right now, as is, like what I'm saying is, everything that we're built on, the premise of the USA and everything that's going on makes no sense. It makes no sense. Like, we can play the game to abide and get by, i.e., you can go to work every day to feed your family. You can follow the rules so you don't get arrested.
Yeah, we
You
can live
follow
check by
the
check, and we can scrabble, we can hustle. Yeah, it's not living.
it's
This
flawed.
is not living.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
exactly. And that's the point.
Not
So,
living.
and check this, right? And I've even toyed with this a lot. The bottom line is, when money came into play, money somehow got rid of hard work. I can't imagine in death, if you really want to think about it. I ain't gonna say it was no killing, but what I'm saying is, at some point, if we're sitting back and imagine somebody walks up to you and say, "Hey, I don't have a skill. I can't build a house. I don't know how to write poetry or a book, and I don't have anything to offer you, but I'll give you this IOU in exchange for some services that you do, and that somehow, and that somehow should suffice for now, right?" I'm thinking, like, get back to the basics. Like, I help you build your house, you help me,
Takes a village. Takes a village.
yeah, like, I want to get back to that
It
mentality.
takes a village.
You know what I mean? Like, that's
We got to be a community again. We have to be a community.
yeah, absolutely.
We
Like,
have to be a
absolutely.
community.
Because as soon as you give a different set of currency and wealth, you're gonna have somebody that's sitting on the top of the hill thinking
There's always a majority, and there's always been someone being oppressive, and
Right.
that's what. And so right now we live in a current crony capitalism. That's our current society. What's crony capitalism? That means there's only the nation's wealthiest. They dictate the currency of America, right?
Right. Absolutely.
So that's what they say, the 1%. So that means right now, 95. This is not made up. 95% of the currency is withheld or hold within the nation's wealthiest. The rest of the working class right now, which is us, we exchange currency. How do you make a successful economy? Consumer spending. Now,
Right.
let's wrap that to what we're talking about. So people don't got money, right? People are suffering. Now, who didn't have money before? Who suffered the most? People of color. So now, if you have white people are suffering right now, what they're going to say, well, I'm suffering too. Okay, however, you'll be okay. And that's why I said legacy. You have hundreds of years of being a citizen. You have hundreds of years of building foundations.
Yeah.
So right now during this pandemic, it emphasized, it magnified how these crises has been going on all along. So all this time when people said, well, things were okay, let's go back where things were. No, things were not okay, guys.
Yeah.
White Americans are finally experiencing a tiny percentage of an economic struggle that minorities are experiencing in America for hundreds of years.
Yeah.
That is the main problem.
I wanted to know because, like I said, I was itching yesterday to rant, man. Like, I mean, itching. I find it fucked up that I have to put on a smile, and I've taught myself to put on a smile like every day of my life. Otherwise, I'm 6'4", 245, and you can see me head on tattoos. I'm a suspect by any description. I'm a suspect. I'm not an intellectual. It doesn't matter what I think. Doesn't matter my past. Doesn't matter.
You're not dumb.
None of that. Well, that's that's what I'm saying. Like, all the war shit without my vet plates on my shit, or if I'm not in uniform, and sometimes even in uniform, I learned that you have to put on this little smile or whatever. And I get to Googling because I feel like I gotta watch my back when I leave the house, or when I leave, my nice neighborhood, when I go jogging, when I drive, when I get to work, when I'm, if I'm a FedEx driver, delivering, so on and so forth. And then you get to asking yourself, man, like, when do you get a break? When do you get a time of peace? You know what I mean? And I got to Googling about starting my own business and Black-owned businesses and everything like this. And this also goes hand in hand with the people that say stop burning down your neighborhoods and stop burning your shit, right? All right, well, it ain't ours. It ain't ours. Like, I'm looking at the stats, and white-owned businesses create 5.9 million jobs. Annual revenues of 12.9 trillion, and this might even be old. It might be more than this, but black-owned businesses create 1 million jobs. 4% of the working age black population. Bruh.
You said 4%?
4% of the working black population. 1 million jobs.
Not enough. That's not enough.
Not even, you know what I mean?
Not even near enough.
So the advantage that has in the psychological warfare of all of that, of thinking like, you know, that you have to rap or play ball is there. It's there.
Can I give you more numbers?
Go ahead.
Run it.
How many black Americans are representing the government right now? 57. And that is only 2 senators.
See what I mean?
You get what I'm saying?
No,
That's right.
I hear you. And that's why I say all the time, like, that's why I say it's a joke, as far as all of this is concerned about, you know, black on black crime or whatever, because it starts right there in your upbringing. It starts when you don't have anybody to tell you how to save money. It starts when people don't have money to save. It starts when you don't have
100%.
or an education to do these things. It starts when you have no business savvy or none of that. But the one thing that we do know is if you can run and you can fucking jump and you can shoot a ball,
and let's hear that. Let's hear that.
Be a spectacle, pretty much.
Right now, right, Mike. How can we change that right now?
Right now, we got all the power to shift. I would love for the athletes to just walk out of that shit right now and let that shit be what it is. I would love for that.
I said that episode 1. I said that episode 1. They got the power and they don't realize it, man.
No, they realize it.
I literally said that episode 1. They all need to sit down.
They realize it. They know that. They know they have the power. They know they have the power.
But hear me out. Let Mike. I want to see what Mike wants to say.
They're scared to give up that power. They're scared to give up that title. What it is you get to a point, not for nothing. People gonna think I'm shitting on people. I swear to God, they're gonna think I'm shitting on my own people. But I'm not. I promise you, I'm not. I'm just I'm making a point. Jay-Z can do all the great things in the world. I promise you, he can. I will never shit on Jay-Z and the people like Jay-Z for doing the things that they're doing. But then turn around and turn on and buy a $90 million crib, one of your cribs, bro. I don't never understand that. I've never understood that. And part of that is you still want that title. You still want to be looked at a certain way.
So that's a little bit confusing, and I'm gonna explain why. How many things he's done for humanitarian rights, right? How many things he's done to uplift and show black culture?
I'm never shitting on those people and what they do. I'm never.
No. I'm not saying shitting. No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that when we bring up materialistic, right? Mm-hmm. Well, white people got a bunch of materialistic stuff, but they still get shit done. So when Jay-Z's trying to get things done, back to capitalism, he needs to have money to make things done in this country.
Right, but what I'm saying is, the difference is white people can afford to buy those.
No. Point being, Jay-Z is he's very small percentage trying to get things done. Absolutely. That's why he stands out. That's Absolutely. Why he's targeted. That's why capitalism is targeted. That's why LeBron is targeted. Because there's only, when you think of black representing America, what do you think of? Jay-Z, Kaepernick, LeBron, and Serena Williams, right?
Right. Yeah. But what I'm saying is, what's the guy name? What's Bezos? They can afford to do these things and live a certain way. What I'm saying is, we can't afford. What I'm saying is, people can't afford to have leaders.
But we can change that. We can change that, Dwight.
Right.
Hear me out.
I'm listening. I want to know, because what I'm saying is, I'm gonna put it into perspective. Me personally, I can only speak for me. If my people and I know my people are suffering and my people don't have leadership, don't have the education, don't have them things. The last thing that I'm ever doing is buying a $90 million crib that I don't need.
No,
That's my point.
you're not wrong. You are not wrong.
That's all
You
I'm
are not
saying.
wrong. You're not wrong.
Man, Chucky said education and things like that, and that's where it starts. Like, that's the thing. He might spark, like, a good example is Akon. I don't know how much money Akon made from music, but I see him building a whole African village and you know, towns and cities, building it.
Let me tell you how my
I'm not
mind. Speaking of Akon, right? Let me tell you how my mind think. Where you say he was doing that at?
Africa.
In my head,
Ghana.
do you think he could do that? Do you think he could do that in the States?
I believe if he tried,
the way my mind
Black Wall
thinks,
Street, etc. I believe the same thing that happened, Black Wall Street, etc. would happen. But
I'm glad you said that. I am glad you said that.
I mean,
in my mind,
at some point, you gotta shoot back.
that's exactly where I was going. Do you think he could do that here?
Well,
in the States.
Yes, he can. Here's the thing.
That's the answer I want. Yes, he can, but
yes, he can.
Bringing up Black Wall Street was perfect because I'm saying when you get people
that
might want to do that, they taking them out. They cleaning that up. I'm telling you.
Maybe, but listen, I don't disagree with you. I don't. I told you, I'm one of them people that did not want Obama to do a second term. I was happy he made it out of the first term alive. I thought they was gonna kill that man. But what I'm saying to you is, even with what you're saying, all of the work that you do, and I'm saying this as a broke nigga. I'm saying this as somebody that don't have $90 million to blow on a mansion and with my wife or whatever. I'm saying it. I just don't. I know my heart. I would never. I mean, if they do, they do. They get it. They get the city cool. But me, Akon, LeBron James, etc., we are at least attempting to build this city or build our own army or do something. But the fact that you can do this work and the fact that, you know,
that's academic. That's the academic teaching of capitalism in our country. We in our academia, we teach each other, we brainwash each other. The only way to be successful is to shit on each other and to be rich.
I agree with you 100%. And
that is something that has to be reformed. We have to reform that.
And you know what? It may even take a little bit of that selfishness at that top, because I don't know a lot of people that have Akon's drive and unselfishness, man. I don't.
Well, you know, and you know how we solve that? We right now we have the perfect energy, we have the perfect momentum to emerge new leaders, right? It starts locally. What Mike just said, locally. Yep. Locally means your city council, your district attorney, your judges, your sheriffs, right? Now, why does locally mean so importantly? They're the one who budget funding, education, police reform, courts. Federal does not involve nothing when it comes to funding in cities and towns, right? So right now we have the greatest opportunity to get new Black leadership, because at the end of the day, the only way to make new legislations and new social reforms, we cannot have the same white leaders.
So I want to put a disclaimer here for anybody watching and listening to this. When I speak and I talk in my position as far as Black lives and everything, I'm very, very careful. Well, I'm upfront with what I say. I'm Black. Black lives matter. I'm never one of those people that believes that Obama got into office and I wanted a white slave or something like that tomorrow. And I'm gonna piggyback off that, and the reason why I'm saying that, I don't necessarily want to see or want my children raised in a world where it only has only the Black leadership are elected into position to fix our communities and shit like that. Like, I don't understand for the life of me how, just because, and I hear you with the Black leadership shit, but why the fuck I gotta elect a Black woman or man into office to
That's a beautiful point. I'm glad you asked that, Dwight.
So fucked up.
I'm glad you asked that.
Why the hell I need a Black? Like, why do I have to pray that it's a black officer pulling me
And I'm
over.
gonna answer that. I love great question.
Like that's
Great question.
to me. It's like it's
That's valid.
you know, for me, it goes back to the village comment that I made, man. Like for me, I can sit here on this platform and talk my shit. Talk my shit. I
Mhm.
don't want to talk my shit. You know what I mean? Like I'll get out, I'll reach out to Santana, I'll reach out to you, I'll reach out to whoever want to talk. And anybody that's ever had conversations with me, like that's just my MO. But I don't want to live in a world where I need a black leader or a black mayor to handle black fucking
So,
issues.
and that's such a that was a beautiful question. I appreciate that. That was a very good question.
It's crazy
And
to
I'm-
me. And then it
That was a
because
real
what it becomes is reverse racism, right? Like I'm voting for this.
Yeah, I wouldn't say reverse racism. I wouldn't say reverse racism.
I understand why you say reverse
Of some
racism.
sort.
Though.
It is. It's because again, when Obama, you know, not for nothing, but a lot of people, we're gonna be honest on this podcast. A lot of people voted for Obama because he was Obama. He was black. And then the results.
I'll raise my hand to that.
Listen, he wasn't qualified. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying, let's be honest. There wasn't a lot of black people interested, and they're still not interested in the politics. What you're talking in the shit that goes on every day, most black people that I know could give a fuck less about them. Reason why? There's nobody they can relate to. It's not wrong.
So you're answering your own question.
Right. And I said,
You
I'm
just
saying,
answered
I
your
said that
question.
I agree. I
That's
said that I agree, but I
you
also
need
said I don't
black
want to live in
leadership.
a world where I have to seek out the black governor or the black mayor to fix the problem.
So-
I'm not saying you're wrong.
No.
I
It's
understand the
not about right or wrong. It's a good question. It's not
Yeah.
about right or wrong. It's a beautiful question. And I'm going to answer that. Now, has anyone who looked like me made your life easier?
Absolutely. I'm gonna give you two examples. My business partner is white. He's
No,
done
no,
more
no,
for
no.
me. No,
I'm talking about legislations and taxes reforms.
Well, listen, I can't listen. Like I said, I can't go that far because a lot of what goes on in politics requires a team. It's like to me, politics is like court.
Can I chime in real quick right there?
Go ahead.
Do you know why you just said that, Dwight?
Go ahead.
We are taught in school that you have to be a special breed, a special person to be a leader. You have to come from a different cut of cloth, a prestige background to be a leader. We are taught that. Am I wrong?
Yeah, but we know that ain't right. We see the president. We
But,
see all that.
and how you just replied goes back to how we are taught academic.
Yeah.
So you just said, well, I don't know much about the legislation. I don't know much about this. And that is the point I'm trying to drive. We need to break those social reforms. We need to implement new reforms.
I agree. That's what I said at the top of the podcast. I agree 100%. But the only detour that you get from me, the deviation from what you're saying is, I should be able, and I'm just piggybacking off you saying, you're absolutely right.
Sure.
We need people, like we need black leaders and everything like that. We need people that give a fuck about the issues that really matter. So you're absolutely right. But what I'm also saying is I don't want to go to a hospital, and I shouldn't have to worry if I'm going to a hospital and wonder if that white doctor, that white nurse is going to look at me as a gang member and not want to, is that a gunshot wound or whatever? Like, I don't want to live in a world where I'm judged off, or I feel that I have to kind of look at
Absolutely.
you like
Absolutely.
it's right here. I don't feel I should have to go to court and think, or go to stand in front of a judge or a cop or anybody else and be like, oh, he don't look like me. So like, that's the world that I'm trying to get to and live in. So I'm not disagreeing with you at all. Like, you're right, what we're taught, but we're also taught that grades matter. We know that you get good grades, you be successful in life,
Well, it doesn't matter whose your family is. It doesn't matter how much your net worth is.
I got rid of that bullshit a long time ago, man. Get that shit out of here. That's right up there with don't resist. That's right up there with don't resist. We know that shit ain't true. We know that shit ain't true. It's too many flips.
But we know that's
they
not
know
true.
too.
But however,
Listen, the all lives matter people, and the people that are trolling and the people that don't give a fuck to see, they know, they see it. They see it. It's just that they don't give a fuck. You see it. You're not ignorant enough to know.
So And let's migrate to that. So on that topic, and Mike, you had something to say. I saw you try. Me and Dwight talk too much. I apologize.
I pick my spots. But go ahead.
No, Mike, I see you.
Go ahead. No, finish what you're saying. I'm chiming in.
Yeah, I thought you were saying something too.
So basically, we're talking about solutions, right, Dwight and Mike? Solutions, right?
Yeah.
We need solutions. And solutions has to come from new social reforms and new legislations, right? So what are legislations? Legislations are laws. Now, to give you a backbone, you guys know how the Second Amendment came about?
I briefly read it like a week or two ago. Well, I've read it before, but I read it again like a week or two ago. It was some shit. It was some shit opposite of what we think. What you know what I mean? What we.
Right. It's trying to protect ourselves from the government. Right.
Yeah.
Mike, do you know what how the Second Amendment came about?
Nah, run it.
Second Amendment came about when the South was they were carrying guns, and a large group of people, and they're trying to hunt down slaves. When they crossed state lines in the North combat them. They're like, no, you can't cross state lines. You cannot come out here with your guns. The North didn't care about the guns. So they passed the Second Amendment. Bear arms, militia. So a group of people can gather arms in a militia, so they legally to combat the North in the courts, to track the slaves and to gather them.
I did.
The Second Amendment was 100% to track down let's say Africans. At the time, they were Africans, to regather them as slaves. So when they crossed state lines, it allowed them to cross state lines with their guns.
With the guns, yeah.
That is the Second Amendment. So when I say legislations, what amendment? What's the definition of amendment? You got to keep amending.
Yeah.
You got to keep amending.
It's flexible. Motherfucker, you can change this. You can change this.
The fucking Constitution is
locked.
Big static, right? Like, how long ago all this shit been passed in the Constitution?
Man.
How long ago?
Listen,
is that the same right now?
It goes back to what I said. People forget slavery and a bunch of other shit was once legal. It's the same as the guys that's in jail right now, and when weed was illegal. Like, you gotta let them go. You've legalized weed. You have to let them go. It doesn't even make sense.
It's like when people are drinking and they pass a prohibition and they cancel the prohibition and they allow people go when they broke the drinking law.
I read somewhere today. I wonder if I screenshot it. I read somewhere today that there's actually states where correctional officers can legally have sex with the inmates.
So there is certain states, not all states. Certain states do have. I can't remember the definition, but there's a consent for an officer, or someone they detain, of consent for sexual. Not all states. I think it's like 26 states, 27 states. Yes, you are correct, Dwight.
Man,
New York.
Kind of freaky shit they got going on over here, man. Like listen to what we talking about here.
And this is back to legislations. And Dwight, I know you said I shouldn't have a black leader. You're 100% right. However,
no. I said I shouldn't have to have.
Shouldn't have to vote one in, which I understand.
Yes,
however, this is where we at. It must happen.
Yeah. Listen,
you got to, because you got to have somebody in there that understands and that's been through it.
So here's the thing.
And knows what we need. Not a lot of white folks know.
Well,
they got zero fucking idea.
Go ahead, Mike.
Let's say we get a black leader in there that's really a black leader. Let's say we get them. How long you think that's gonna last, bro? You just said yourself that they burning.
I love how you said. Thank you for giving me. Good question. You ready? You ready? You're 100% right. You're 100% right.
Yeah.
So how do we combat that?
We got. I keep telling you. At some point, you gotta shoot back.
It's and when I say we can't, it's not a sprint, guys. We have
So right now, what happens to black leaders right now? They get ostracized or they get bribed, correct?
Yeah.
Or killed.
That's what happens.
Mainly smoke. That's what I'm saying. It burnt the fuck down. Yeah.
Yeah, you're getting if you
Akon was smart. He like, yo, do this shit at home.
Get thrown out.
Yeah, off top.
So
Or
how
set,
do we
or big one set the fuck up.
said, how do we what?
How do we combat that? So it's when I said it's not a sprint, it's not a sprint. That's why we got to start a local office. We have to multiply the current representatives of black leadership by 10 times the current number now within 10 years. If you multiply the current number now within 10 years, you're going to see new legislations and new social reforms.
What about your last comment?
Change.
What about your last comment about being ostracized and blackmailed and all the rest of this? Listen, we live in. I basically what I'm saying is we live in a society where we know factually. This is not a guess. It's not an assumption.
Yeah, it's not a question.
We live in a society where we know the government that we have is capable of getting a man like Epstein killed to shut him the fuck up. We're living in a society where we know and have to question whether or not they killed JFK. We're talking about openly assassinating motherfuckers in broad daylight at parades with their fucking family.
You know how to give it up.
And what you're telling me is,
Dwight, allegedly.
Exactly. So
yeah,
if
allegedly,
if I don't want to see Black Peter, what I want to see at some point is I want to see a complete takeover. Which I hear you with the marathon. I do not disagree. But what I've seen and the fear that you have is, I'm gonna tell you what's gonna happen. If they had shot Obama, if we get a legit leader in office today and they kill that man, this whole shit get burned down. I hope.
You don't want that. You know why?
So what I'm saying to you,
why people want that? Why people want that? You don't want that.
Right. And I'm saying openly that I agree with you, but with the leadership shit, we need that. We deserve that. We want that. But that's not how this plays out. We know that. At some point,
I disagree, buddy.
I don't, bro. I don't. And I'm saying we're saying the same thing. What you're saying is we need leadership, and I'm agreeing with you. But what I'm saying is we have to do it a different way. I don't believe that leadership over time can infiltrate a structure that is already set up for them to win. What
do you propose?
I keep saying it and I'm gonna reiterate it. I believe at some point, integration was the worst shit that we ever did. I believe at some point we have to separate again. We have to have our own currency. I believe we have to run our own schools. I believe, and listen, right now, if me and Santana walked away, I'm gonna give you a prime example. Me and Santana walked over there to the line. We said we ain't taking this no more. Where you going?
Well, I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying.
No.
And I'm going to answer. Can I answer?
If me and Santana right now.
And I'm going to answer. I'm going to answer.
Wait. You married to a black woman?
I'm like every other man. I'm trash. But yes, my woman will be black.
Okay. So you like black women. If your woman.
Of course.
Listen. All right. So what I'm saying.
That.
Right. I'm not talking about married. I don't know your personal life. But what I'm saying is, if you have a black family and your black family, let's say we don't even separate by ourselves. Let's say it's not voluntary. If they sit back and they say, hey, y'all go back to Africa, and we all had to leave.
Going to the motherland, baby.
You're going. So same shit. If we walked out right now by choice and your family, your guy right here, Santana, me and everybody else, the athletes, the people that you love, the people that you care about, and what you know is right automatically, say we going right. But where you going?
And that's a beautiful question. And I'm going to answer that realistically.
That's how I feel like we need to segregate. I feel like we are going to be white, Asians, and everybody else.
So Dwight, there's 330 million people. You can't just cancel everyone. You can't just be like, I'm done with
anybody. I didn't cancel anybody.
No. Point being is there's 330 million people, right? You can't just be like, I don't need you no more.
Why not?
Because then we're moving away from the ideal. It takes a village. It takes a community.
No, we're not. Because you're gonna come with me. a carpenter, a nurse, somebody to
Yeah,
a medic.
but it's me though. Everybody who's watching this, they know who Patrick Cusack is. They
Right.
know who I am.
So what you're saying is, but what happened when the North and the South, or whatever the case was split? It wasn't one America at one point. At
Still
some
ain't.
point,
No, it wasn't.
point,
So
it's-
each state was just separate, governed.
right.
They're
And they
separate
believe in
governed.
different things.
governed
What I'm saying
identity.
is, whether it's here, there, wherever it is, at some point, you can continue to play this game. I'm sorry, but these motherfuckers, they had hundreds of years of a head start. They control the money, they control the laws, they control the businesses that you want and what you do.
So why not make new laws? So why not make new?
Are they gonna do it? That's my question.
Who's that? Who's that?
The state
Who's
of
that?
shit right now.
How do you
Hell
force-
no.
how do you
I
force-
answer that.
No. Who's they?
The people that run the shit.
The current people?
Yeah,
Hell no.
are they gonna do it?
No, that's my
What about the
point.
top? Right, but
Yes,
how do
no,
you
they're
get there?
not. That's my point. We must implement black leadership. This is the time to do it now.
Are they gonna
That
elect?
is my point, Dwight.
I hear you, and I'm agreeing with you. But what I'm asking you is, do you believe that the current in the next 20 years, given how things are going, yes, I believe they will pacify. I'm watching Target, I'm watching Starbucks, and I'm watching.
Oh, we don't care about.
No.
They're
I'll
saving
give you an
face.
example. I understand that people can shuck and jive. I understand that they can play their cards for self-preservation. I do not want my business to fail. So you know what I'm gonna do?
You're gonna whatever the trend is.
Yeah, I'm going with the trend. I don't want to offend because they buy this, they do this. I don't want to offend. That doesn't mean that I believe in it. So what I'm saying is, even with the government, if I elect somebody to come into office that feels how I feel and are willing to do the things that I'm doing, at some point, we've seen it. I watch The Wire, I watch movies, you watch TV, you know how this goes. At some point, in order for that black leader to get school books into school, he's going to have to do something for somebody in power.
That's why remember what I said. We have to multiply by the number by 10 of the current leadership by now, so they cannot be singled out, bribed, or ostracized. That's why I'm laying out a strategy.
And I'm basically saying that I believe, and again, this is just me, I believe
No, it's fine.
we have to, and for lack of better terms, unionize. We got to militarize. We have to do that. That's how I believe it. That's just my perspective. And I'm saying that.
No, that's fine. That's fine. No. What you're saying is, that's fine. Now, if you do what you said, now, if you take that and put that into taking over these local offices and these federal offices,
I'm not saying rush their buildings. I'm not saying rush their buildings. I'm not saying.
Good question. So how do you force a special election? Do you guys know? So revote, recount, right? That's one way.
You're still talking about their system, though.
So hold up. So you can force a special election by revote, recount, or forcing a resignation. When you force a resignation during their term, during their tenure, it will ignite a election. So we can actually do that. When you just said, well, are we supposed to just rush these? Why can't we just protest out these guys' houses? Why can't we protest out these courthouses? Why can't we protest out these leaders' driveways? If we
beat the fuck up, that's why.
No, we won't. No, we won't. No, we'll be okay. We're going to be okay. If we protest and we hold under siege, do you guys know what happened? What happened? 2019. The Lebanese people? Yeah, the Lebanese people. They're my heroes. You know what they did? They held their president, their prime minister, under siege. I think for 14 days. They surrounded the equivalent of the White House, right? The equivalent of their White House to us. They surrounded their White House and forced their prime minister to resign.
All right, but we're we're dealing with a president that literally went on the news and said that he would basically begin shooting American people around.
No, I mean, you can say that. But
so listen,
nonsense.
what I'm saying, okay.
We seen what happened for the photo op.
So listen, I'm with you. I'm with you on how you view going about it using their amendments, their laws, their rules. I don't disagree with you. Nowhere in that do I disagree with you. What I'm saying, and I continue to feel, is as long as you're playing by their rules, fuck they buildings, fuck the White House. What I'm saying is if I today, tomorrow, or whatever, decided that we're going to take over the Gardens on some Nino Brown shit, that's our headquarters, and we no longer fall under your rules, or we no longer give a fuck about how you feel about this. We're no longer bound by your contracts and your laws, etc. And we're gonna negotiate later on whatever. Listen, the economy shuts down without minority workers.
100%. We saw that.
Yeah, exactly. 100%. So the NBA does not have an NBA without the players. Yeah, the owner can hold the cards, but you don't have it without it. It's the same concept. So now I feel like
capitalism.
If we sit back and we hold the cards, let's be honest, like all the companies shut down. At some point, you have to come back to the table and negotiate. You have to.
Right. And that's what I'm trying. We're on the same page then.
Yeah. We're saying the same thing about your recount, revote, and renegotiate. We're saying the same things, but I'm saying at some point you have to find a way. Like, all right, let's take it on a smaller scale. What happens in businesses, right? Businesses, they have the owners, they have the rest of it, they have politics, and everything. When the workers walk out, the business is shut down, and the business is forced to come to the table and negotiate with the person that a representative to get to terms with the workers to get them back to work. Now the workers,
you got the same mentality to force special elections.
That's what I'm saying. You have to do the same thing. We're saying the same thing. Yeah.
So
we're saying the same thing. I'm saying separate. Like at some point, when I say separate, I mean just that. Like, yo, I'm not gonna continue to do this. Like, you're not gonna hold your police officers and your laws and your judges putting us in jail and your prison systems or whatever over my head and get this free work and this free money and this labor out of me. No, that's not how we doing it. But you're absolutely right. Like at some point you have to find a way to bring them to the table to say this shit don't work no more.
And so I appreciate you saying that. And that's where we must, and I know. And that's why anyone who's watching, they should really look at the Lebanese people, how they held their government under siege. Not violently. Look it up. This is last year, October. We can literally...
I remember it. But again, the United States has hands.
But we can do that. We can hold these people offices under siege.
Right. And you can bring it to the table. Same shit I'm saying.
We're on the same page. Yeah. 100%. We're on the same page.
At some point, you have to.
You have to force them
with their ass and smack them in their mouth. Like, yo, we not like this. Ain't it? This ain't
it.
So
That's a long track to run there, though.
It's not.
I'm only going off the history and what I've been shown. That's a long race to run.
They did it in 13 days.
Man, listen.
I wish that would work over here. But realistically, I don't know.
Bro, it's listen, Mike.
I will want that though.
Santana, you my man, but that's what, like right now, if we was having a huddle and we said, yo, we doing this, and you say, I don't know, that's the shit that keeps them from doing it. That's the shit that NBA players and shit, like when they saw Kaepernick kneeling and the rest of them people knew he was right and they didn't do it.
So would you say that go back to being the equivalent of starting local though?
Yeah, go ahead.
Start somewhere. But
you see what I'm saying? Like you just made that point, like back to me saying going local, like it's got to start somewhere, right?
That's who funds everything. Yes. Education.
So that's the equivalent to starting local. If the athletes kick it off, like yo, we sitting. You see what I'm saying?
Listen,
they got to start somewhere, man. Like however the Lebanese did it, how they gathered up, it ain't gonna work the same.
Let me ask you a question, Santana. Do you think Kaepernick gets the oh man, he was right all along from all of these players and so on and so forth? If this current situation doesn't happen,
all suckers though.
No, niggas.
And that's the equivalent that started locally.
Get ridiculed, laughed at, kicked out of the league, and a whole nine. And they had the power all alone to sit back and say, nah, you kick him out or you don't hire him or whatever. Look at Drew Brees, right? So Drew Brees, and this is why I be so pissed. Drew Brees,
Don't get me started, Dwight.
Psychological. Think about it. Psychological. Drew Brees somehow was held to a higher standard than Kaepernick. They sat back when that man said what he said, and they said, "Yo, hold on. We expect more from you." Why? This man gave you all of that already. We knew what America was. We knew what the what is it? Make America Great shit was, and kneeling, and the difference was. But now suddenly, after Drew Brees and everything, the NFL and everybody else is stepping up, and players are saying, "Oh no, you going don't speak for me. I'm a kneel next year. I'm a knee." I'm like, bro, where was this energy when it was prevalent, when it was going on? This man out here.
It wasn't as trendy. My word of the day.
So right now, it's the same shit. Like, if they had done it then, Jerry Jones said, "Oh, we not kneeling. We not doing all this."
Oh, Jerry Jones said,
yeah. Listen, all his players kneel. What he gonna do? He can fire them. But what you gonna do? Call that man bluff. And then the other teams do the same thing. Then the other teams do the same thing. The other team lose your players. Do what you do. But what happens is we so scared of losing that dollar. Like, oh man, I ain't trying to lose my money. And I'm not mad at it, because I know that money goes into creating the schools and everything else that goes on. And I'm never gonna tell another black man don't get his money. But at the same time, you got to know your power. You can't sit back and say we can't stop and make the legislation do this, that, and the third, or we can't force them to do this, and we can't separate them. Yes, we can. We absolutely can. We 1000% can. Other people do it all the time.
And I think we just, if I'm wrong, I think we laid out a solution, right? Solution is we have
against us. That's the solution. With us or against us, ho.
We have to force a resolution, right?
Absolutely. You can't be passive with this shit. You can't.
We have to, and let me disclaimer that to people who are listening. Forcing a resolution, you can hold offices under siege. You can force special elections. You can force these people to get out of their positions and replace them. Correct? That's where we are. We are talking about forcing people to get out of their current comfortable positions to be replaced, right? That's the agreement.
Get down and lay down, ho.
Huh?
Get down and lay down. That's what we doing. Get down or lay down.
So everyone from Chicago, dog.
Hey, that's what it is.
Everyone from
Get down
Chicago,
and lay down.
Damn it, Dwight.
Listen, because what's gonna happen if you don't get to that point? If you don't get to that point, what we doing? All right, they're gonna arrest.
No, you're right.
It's a cycle. They're gonna arrest the officers. We're gonna riot. We're gonna do what they do. They fire them. They arrest them. You know, a verdict comes in. People mad. They didn't get the sentence they thought. Somebody else get killed. Repeat, rinse, recycle.
I would say wash, rinse, repeat. Yeah.
Nah, you can't be passive with the shit. Like, at some point, you got to get down and lay down. Like, you with us or against us. And again,
now I'm not
saying it's black.
And I like how you said, can we transition to that? And I feel like you two and me, I feel like this is another important topic that we need to talk about, right?
What's that?
Is that people are exploiting this, and they're trying to be this new majority. They're trying to say, well, I am white. I'm not evil, but I'm going to find another white person who is evil so I can meet the quota. Am I wrong?
It's a lot of ganging up. Even the passive shit with or the coon and shit with people like Candace Owens and shit, man.
It's too much.
That shit is sad.
So and we need to talk about that. We need to talk about my fellow kinsfolk, right? And a lot of people are watching this. I don't know if there's people watching this. I've been in so many arguments and fights and violence in my life because of this.
Because you like black people. You're an advocate for black people.
Man, y'all
I would say, yeah, fighting our fight with us.
Y'all beautiful.
Oh, hey guys, these are fake teeth. That's fake teeth.
Fake teeth. You got your shit knocked out like hockey.
Yeah,
hey, don't pull them out on my show, bro. Don't pull them out.
No. I spent money.
Yeah.
No, look.
I'll hang up on you right now,
man. Good, dog. We good.
Like, bang it on.
I'm banging it on you right now. He pulled his teeth out.
Yeah, so I mean, And what I mean by that, by the new majority, and I hope you guys understand what I'm trying to say, and that is the problem. The problem is we are still making the same mistake we did before. We are not acknowledging the issue. What we are doing, we are trying to become the new majority to seek validation to say, hey, I was on your side the whole time.
No. That's what I said. That's what I was going with the Target shit. Like you see Roger Goodell, you see all of these shit sit back and you see all these people sit back and hey, we with you. Black Lives Matter. Where was that energy? Like that's what I'm saying, man. It's
translation. Keep giving us your money.
Listen. So that being said, this is what I mean when I say, if we walk, there are gonna be people that follow, whether that be for financial gain or saving face. If we decide today that we want to, put this shit under siege and we want to do our thing, we ain't fucking around no more. There are gonna be team owners, coaches, business owners, Fortune 500 companies and shit like that, CEOs that want to be a part of that shit. But my issue is going to forever be, I do not need the validation of Drew Brees or Gucci or with Target.
Correct.
I don't require it. I don't fucking want it.
100%. And you know what we need, Dwight? We, not you guys, we as in me and the majority of the country, it is what? White Americans.
White, yeah.
We need to acknowledge the atrocities. We need to acknowledge all the injustices, all the horrific acts.
Keep it under the rug, cuz. It don't
exist.
Bro,
we don't keep it under the rug. You know why we don't keep it under the rug?
That's why we're lying.
If we keep it on the rug, it on the rug,
that's a victim mentality. What you talking about right there?
No, it's not a victim. No, that's
man, it's a victim mentality. Why acknowledge it? Move on with your life.
That's what I'm saying. How do you move on, Dwight? How do you move on? You acknowledge and you move forward, right?
Supposed to. Supposedly.
Move on.
She's exactly.
Old, man. You can't. Stop bringing up old shit.
And when I say you, I'm talking about people. People can't say.
Oh, you say you people.
Oh, you don't. Hey, you don't.
Hey.
I literally posted that shit. It ain't old when you start floating the old shit down the river.
Nah, you people.
Nah, you as in any, but nah, no, don't try your boy.
He said it was a whole comment in. He said it was a whole pause in there. You.
It said the four dots. You.
That ain't what I said.
All right.
But you know what I'm saying. When I say you and the people of anybody, you can't just say, you can't just shrug it off. You know what I'm saying? We can't just shrug it off.
And that's what happens though. Everything is shrugged off.
Legislations, acknowledging means by new social reforms. That's what I mean by acknowledging. So we acknowledge, we need to implement those acknowledgments, the new social reforms, the new legislation. So that's what I mean by acknowledgement. I'm not talking about I'm talking about implementing the acknowledgement.
All right.
Make sense?
Yeah, no, listen, I agree with you. We're here. I hear you. And I'm gonna go back to saying you. Dave acknowledge. You know, acknowledgement comes in a lot of forms too. Burying it means you acknowledge it. You just ain't dealing with it.
That's why I say new legislations. That's why I say new social reforms.
I know we saying the same.
Remember, I covered that.
No, you right. We on the same page. We're saying the same thing. You're trying to turn the old into the new, and I feel you. And I'm trying to turn that old shit into the past. Like leave that shit where it is, and we start fresh. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying tomorrow, right now, I don't know, some way, somehow, like that legislation that we got now and the way shit is right now, that shit clearly, unequivocally don't work. What now?
100%. It's useless. It's useless.
Man. Well, no, it's not useless. It's useless to us. Well, it's not useless to them. It's perfect for them. Mm-hmm. It works how you want to. It's like the American flag.
For me, I got blue eyes.
The American flag only works one way.
100%. 100%.
You cannot fight for freedom, be black, represent the country, and so on and so forth, and kneel. Nah. But you can be whatever you want to be, and that flag represents you. Believe me, that flag only works one way.
And that is the number one issue.
Same with the legislation. But all that aside,
real quick in the comments, that's kind of real quick in the comments. Jason Pope, he said, "How can you start fresh when you feel 100 years behind?"
That's what I keep saying. Again, people listen. Jason was one of them, so that's my brother, man. Let me.
Gotcha.
He said he don't think my.
I like Jason. I've seen Jason comments. I like him. He makes a lot of sense.
So Jason says that my ideals are not realistic. They started cryptocurrency. It was one of the biggest shits. Akon started a whole currency country, lights and a whole nine. It worked. We just talked about the Lebanese people. We could talk about and give 1,000,001 examples. I can even go back to American history where they probably thought this shit wouldn't work either. What I'm saying is
Hey, Dwight, can I pause really quick? Can you guys hear me? People are texting me. You guys hear me?
We hear you. I hear you.
Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Like you over there looking like you're in the camera looking like Doc Holliday right now, but we hear you. You're a daisy. You're a daisy.
I'm Huckleberry.
I'm the Huckleberry. You looking like Doc Holliday, but we hear you.
All right, my bad, Dwight. Go ahead. My bad.
But look, so that's what I'm saying. Like, so listen, how do you start fresh when you're 100 years behind? All right. The fact that you know that you're 100 years behind and that you cannot catch some shit that's 100 years ahead of you, you have to get rid of that. Like, you cannot continue. Like, again, I keep using the game analogy. Yes, I keep using the game analogy, but let's just start a business. If I work for a company, let's say Target. If I work for Target, and Target is what it is, if all of the minority and people that believe in what I believe in workers walk away right now, Target is out of business. They have a choice. You either come to the table, or I know how to work a register. I know how to build this clothing line because you're selling my clothing line. I know how to make these hair products because I made these hair products that I sold to you. I made these toys and this furniture. I know how to cook. I know how to do all. We're the workers. We know how to do it. I don't need you to distribute it. We are it. We made it. We sell it. We move it. We do all of that. That's how you start over. At some point, realizing that I can't do everything. I may not be able to lay carpet, but I know a couple carpenter friends.
Oh, yeah.
What do you do for a living, Pat? Not to put your business like that, but what skills do you have?
Well,
like if I could call you right now and I say, hey, I need my tires rotated.
So, no, my expertise in the wireless cellular network.
You said what?
So anything that comes, so my expertise is obviously legislations, economics, political strategy. But what I do professionally, I work for a cellular network.
All right. So if I needed to know information and run a cell tower, I don't need T-Mobile no more or some shit like the AT&T. You know what it takes, and I can find, and I know you know somebody that know what it takes, and I know you know somebody that know how to do this. And at some point, you realize that the workers, it's no different than a plantation. I do not, for the life of me, understand how 100 fucking slaves, strong as fuck, knew how to grow crops, know the lay of the land and the whole nine, did not beat the shit out of one fucking owner. Yeah, he might have killed two of us.
Well, here's the thing. Whoa, that's not fair. That's not fair, Dwight. Because that's not fair. Well, let's take a quick pause on that. You know they did. It's just what my people wrote about. You know they fought.
Right. Some of them.
I'll say some.
Some of them, but we can't say all of them.
No. Listen, I know a few. I know there's always gonna be that 1% that said, "Fuck this, I ain't doing it." They might not have made it on the boat. They might not even have made it onto the boat. They might not have made it on the land. Fuck you, you ain't doing it. Because I would have been one of them dudes. Like, nah, I'm straight. You're not getting me. But what it takes for me to do it, Santana to do it, you to do it, the next man to do it.
Yeah, that's the point. That's the point. Point being, 100%.
It takes
what Powell was trying to ask, how do we? Yeah, it is. We are behind. Not we, but you guys are behind the line. 100%. You guys are behind the line. And this is what I was trying to say earlier. Right now, this is the first time in America, in Western culture, in Western countries, that black means something. This is the only time in Western culture, country history that being black means something. That is why I'm trying to emphasize on black leadership. That is how you can stop these.
What you're saying is this at the forefront for the first time.
You say what?
I said, just to clear up what you're saying right now, Black lives and Black leadership and the need for it is at the forefront of the news. It's relevant news right now, but it's not the first time it meant something. Like, it's always been there.
Yeah, as in Western as in European culture.
Right.
In European culture, let's be honest, Europeans didn't value Black lives.
Still don't.
Still don't. They value the culture though.
Yeah, they value the culture for
the work that we put in, the entertainment, the
for money.
Yeah.
Now, and what you said, Dwight,
is we are the money.
They're like, okay, I'm not going to show up. I'm not going to give you money.
What I'm saying, when I say new currency, you don't make $1 off without me.
Correct.
You don't make $1 off. That's what I mean by new currency. You either with us or against us. Either we don't work and you don't make money, or we over here. And I guarantee you, all the Dallas Cowboys players walked away. It's some other owner that's like, hey, what's the Cowboys name? I don't know none of the motherfuckers, man. But hey, Ezekiel, hey, come over here, man. I'll sign you. You gonna make me some money. He'll tell him everything. He'll tell him whatever he wants.
That's crap. Yeah.
When these athletes leave, when these black athletes leave these big league schools and go to these HBCUs, you're gonna see a lot of black recruiters. You're gonna see a lot of black boosters, a lot of black this, black that, black catering going to your mama. You're gonna see it.
It's funny you say that too. Mikey Williams.
Black athletes leave high school and they start going to these HBCUs instead of them other ones. You're gonna see a lot of black coaches and everything else. Come on over here. No, we got it. Hey. And it's the same thing.
Mikey Williams just kicked that off.
So what we're talking about, you're talking about micro levels.
Right. I'm just giving examples. Because
examples. Okay.
Yeah. I'm always trying to simplify what I'm saying because some people don't understand what I'm saying. Let me put it this way. I would never wish anything evil on you. I would never wish like what I was saying earlier. I got a white business partner. I got a white cop that saved my life.
Oh, bro, you good. You don't need to explain. It's me.
You know what I'm saying?
You're good.
I never. Well, that's what I'm saying. Like I don't wake up. I've never once woke up in my life and been like,
no. You good. You don't need. So one thing you will never and Mike knows me. Mike has never heard me trying to explain myself. Have I, Mike?
Not to me. Nah.
No, I'm not. And you don't need to explain yourself to me, because I feel like
I'm doing
one of the biggest.
I want them to understand.
Oh, you want them to understand? Well, they'll be okay. They'll be okay. They'll be okay. Hey, listen, at the end of the day, they're going to be okay. They're going to be okay. We don't need to explain ourselves. No one is inciting any negativity. Not anything has said anything about negativity. Everything we're saying is positivity. At the end of the day, we are speaking about positive solutions.
All lives matter.
You say what?
All lives matter. Your life matters, bro. I want you to know that.
Oh,
I don't want you to think that when I say Black Lives Matter, you're not included. That would be just wrong.
Damn.
Wrong with me.
Stupid dog.
That's facts though. Like anytime you have to say when do you say something matters though? Now that you segued to that. Thank you.
Hey man.
When do you have to say that something matters?
Why are you like that?
Any of y'all can answer that for me though. Either one of you two.
I have never used that in my vocabulary.
No,
I've never said something matters versus something else.
Wait.
No, but anytime you ever had to say that something does matter, when do you have to say it? When is it said?
It's a fallacy. It's a fallacy.
In my head, it's only said when something appears that it's not, though, right? When you have to say that, right?
Yeah, it's a fallacy. It's a follow.
What it is
it's
putting emphasis. It's no different than when a movie's coming out and you advertise. This is what's important right now. This is what we're pushing. This is what it is. People get offended about it, but the fact of the matter is you could not have a Black Panther party, but the KKK can rally and do what they want to do. When I say Black Lives Matter and Black Lives Matter is
with
up there,
protection. With protection.
man, listen, I don't give a fuck how you feel about it, but right now we tired of playing with you. Black Lives Matter. And until you understand that, we're going to keep banging in your head. No, we're not saying only Black Lives Matter, but the fact of the matter
not saying more than anything. We saying,
like the fact that we
not,
say this.
Obviously not as much. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, welcome back. Welcome back, Brad Pitt. Oh, Fight Club looking ass boy. Oh, Tyler Durden looking ass boy.
Tyler Durden.
Yo,
Mr. Fight Club.
He likes to fight too. That's fucked up. You said it. He likes to fight.
Yeah. I mean, boy, are you? Oh, what's that? Snatched? Oh, snatched looking boy. That's my shit though. Periwinkle Blue. Face ass.
No, there's actually. Did you guys check the chat? That's why I accidentally blacked. There was actually a serious question. A serious question was.
My nigga said you look like you can fence. Oh, I'm dead. I can't go on with this podcast. Yo, it's the turtleneck.
Say on guard looking at.
Oh, you know your boy.
On guard. They look like he can fence really well. That's funny.
Y'all gonna see people rock after this. Check out Facebook after this. I'm a trendsetter.
Angelina Jolie popping up.
I mean, I wouldn't be mad.
Come on,
that makes a lot of sense.
Brad,
yeah, you wish. She's not black. You wouldn't like that.
Yeah, you're right.
She raised black babies.
She ain't. That ain't my thing. You know, I like it like my drink. I like it like my drink. I like them brown. I like them dark. Just like my drink.
You a Hennessy drinker?
Did I have a choice? Hey, no, y'all ready? That Erkin jerk.
Oh yeah, you
went back to that. Yeah.
That Parmesan.
Told you he's a fighter.
He punched
that
holes
Erkin
in
jerk,
walls
baby.
for no
That
reason.
Parmesan.
First time I actually met him in person, he was trying to spar. We in the bar. He was like, "Yo, show me the head movement and shit in the bar." I'm like, "Yo, first time meeting, let's drink. You know what I'm saying? Let's have a drink."
Come on,
Hey,
dog.
step up, DJ. Keep that energy, DJ.
I'm weak. Why you trying to beat up the DJ, bro? Come on.
There was actually a legitimate statement in the comments. That's why they said there is no. How can we lead something when there's no leadership during this movement right now? Like there's zero leadership.
There's no trust.
Yeah.
There's no trust.
I feel like. And can I is that okay? I can piggyback off that, Dwight?
Go ahead.
I feel like as a society, and I mean society as American culture, man, we've been played, we've been done dirty by everybody. So when someone's trying to give us a great message, we gotta be like, man, are you just trying to take my money? Are you just trying to what are you trying to do? And that goes back when you say trust. If I'm wrong, correct me if I'm wrong.
It's trust.
Yeah.
We don't need ulterior motives. Are you doing it? It's kind of like not for nothing. It's kind of like you coming on here, us being on here. I don't get paid for this.
No, we doing this shit for free.
You know what I mean? And not for nothing. Like I've always said to people, I live a good life. I'm decent now. You know what I mean? I'm not stress free or no shit like that, but I'm decent. I don't owe nobody shit. And at the end of the day, if I ever reach out to help you, if I want to help you or some shit like that, or give you some advice or whatever, you got to understand that if I'm not asking you for $1, it's for real.
Oh man, you're creating a bridge, right? We just said that, right? Unknowingly, you're creating a bridge. You said you're willing to help while I get paid, right? You don't need money, right?
Yeah, I don't need the shit. I don't want your money. I'm asking you to give me some shit.
Mike, do you need money to help somebody?
Nah, never did. Not to help
no
nobody. Just who I am.
We can actually use this platform to help people to emerge as leaders without any money, right?
Yeah, you can do that every day.
Boys. Yeah.
So I guess that could answer the question: how can we trust somebody to be a leader?
well, this what we doing right now is how we do it. We are not getting paid.
Absolutely. But I mean, it's the same thing with the leadership and everything else. Like I've always believed that. I've always believed at the end of the day, you should not elect the person or have leadership in office for no other reason than you are for the people. None. Look at this dude. Yo, listen.
I saw it earlier. I wasn't gonna call it out, but yeah.
Hey, Shannon Sharp. You got that yak. You got that yak. You got some miles over there.
We see that we see that pause, that pocket rocket over there you swinging on.
Hey, but listen. Hey. You wild boy getting litty. I ain't tripping. It was something in my cup too. Some little bit.
No. I'll take a little sip. Bro, that's a little sip. We good.
Mm-hmm. That yak.
I got a jug.
Skip.
Next to me.
Skip.
Right. Skip.
Yo ass too. He's drinking that Crown.
Hey, you see above that, he said, "Oh, he drank all the violent drinks."
Oh man,
I laughed at them. Yeah,
but yeah, man, it's all about and
it's trust, like you said, man, and to everyone who's like, we're I don't know, and I appreciate you guys.
That's also that's the reason why black people don't trust police too. While we on that topic, we don't trust the police.
Let's transition to the police.
Yeah, thank you.
I'd love to talk about that.
I have zero trust.
You guys want to transition to that?
Yeah, sure. Please.
So, people are listening, and this is one of the most important things I can say right now. Everything I said. There's buzzwords. When they say defund does not mean stripping the police department.
No,
it does not mean that. Defund means is reforming the police department. And what does that mean? That means when there is lawsuits, taxpayers are not paying out of pocket to cover lawsuits. That's what defunding means. So that's why defunding needs to be pushed. So when a law enforcement loses a civil case, it doesn't go out of our tax-paying money. So that's what defunding means. So defunding does not mean removing police departments. So it means that they don't have a free range of doing what they want to do because our tax-paying money will cover their actions. You guys is
any part of that cover reallocation of funds at all? To like,
you said what?
I said, is any part of that cover like reallocation of funds to anything around like communities and shit like that? As far as part of the defunding process, you know what I mean?
Because it's such, each local level is different.
Right.
Back to local offices and city councils, that's a very difficult question to ask. Each city council, they dictate the funding where they implement it in each city and each community.
So
it's a very good question.
The minute I asked that, I'm gonna read this comment from Carlos Francisco. Why do the over-police areas have the nicest police buildings and schools are being shut down and the buildings are dilapidated? I was literally just saying, like, so does any part of defunding cover, like, reallocation of, like, into the neighborhoods?
That's a great question.
You defund, where does that money go to help
that's a great question.
The situation and the problem? So that's literally what I'm touching on when you commented that, so.
I'm gonna bring Carlos on here one of these days, man. He got a lot to say too.
That was perfect.
That's a great question.
Touching on what I was talking about.
And it's a question that needs to be asked.
Carlos be talking that shit. I'm gonna have to bring him on here. Hey, Carlos.
That's a great question. And that needs to be answered. So that's something we don't know, do we, guys? And that's the problem.
Nah, I'm just wondering.
If us three don't know that question and we live in all three separate communities, that's an issue. That is an issue right there. If we don't know where the funds are going, that's why we need to defund.
And Chuck
we need
just
to know
commented,
where the funding is going. And
Chuck
that
just
is
commented, it could be.
Police officer. Listen, man, we know what it is. We know what it is.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen it. You've seen it. If you're familiar with how
bro,
easily gentrification works and how
Stop.
suddenly suddenly you got the funds and stuff when you move niggas out of the hood and you rebuild it to
Hey, the greens. That's
on
what they do to
air,
hey, boy, the
and
greens.
you can put the nice grass down and the
Yeah,
beautiful.
that's what they're doing to the greens right now.
I know.
Yeah, it's gonna be to the point where all that shit's cleared out though. Started
when
up
I was
north,
living in Atlanta,
trickling down south.
Wrong with you?
when I was living in Atlanta, this is what they did. They closed down a homeless center to build a luxury apartments. Keyword luxury. So when you close down a homeless center, what does it do? You put homeless people on the street. And what happened? You put homeless people on the street. What is the most important thing of life? Self-preservation. When you're trying to survive, you're going to do anything to live. When you're trying to live, you will commit crime. That is gentrification right there.
Hey, Carlos, we finna bring you on here real quick, man. I want to hear what you got to say real quick. Hey, Santana, if you can, I know I just messaged you. If you can, send him that link. I don't know, you on Facebook or whatever, but bring Carlos. Carlos he be going off in his Facebook and everything like that. I'm interested in hearing him, especially on this topic or whatever. If he got time, I don't know. We're gonna have one of the moments where we don't know if he's gonna pick up the phone for us or not.
Yeah, one of those. I hope he answers.
Yeah. Hey, here you go, Pat. Fuck.
Let me see
his messages or something, but yeah, Carlos, pick up the phone. See what you got to say.
Let me find his name. Is it Carlos Francisco? Send that link now. Let me find him.
Hey, Dwight, low key, dog. You need to chill.
Hey, listen, man, you gonna learn. I call it how I see it, man. I don't see it. My man said,
I'm trying to cover my phone.
Hey, the shit funny as hell because now I can't unsee you pulling that little mask down with the cage in the front and talking about on guard.
Okay, that's probably on guard.
Every time I pop in, I'm just like, nah, I don't want this dude.
I can't unsee it no more, man. He said, my man said he looked like he fenced good.
That's funny.
He looked like he fenced.
Chill, dog. I need you to chill.
Hey, Chuck, what you doing right now, Chuck?
I sent them the link, so it's up to him to.
All right, Carlos.
Hey,
pulling up.
When you get home, when you get settled, man, hit that link. Hopefully, we still on or whatever. But
did you guys? There's a few other topics you guys want to talk about.
Well, we're on the police, so let's listen. We can keep it there.
Yeah, whatever you want. What up?
Oh no. Like I said, my what I want to talk about was solutions, and I think we did a great job on that one. Was we need new leadership, Black leadership, legislation, social reforms. We need to force these people to literally lay down the table. Either you're with it or you're not. So I think we covered that. Law enforcement, we could cover law. We could still keep talking about law enforcement. I feel like law enforcement. Go ahead.
Law enforcement is an easy fix, bro.
So we started with the whole not trusting them. That's where it kind of started, right?
To me, go back to what we were saying about trust, man. I think there's a way, and it should always be a way. I don't know what police make and everything like that, but it's got to be a way that you stop people that don't actually want to police from policing. It's got to be a way, like, and I'm saying it like not making it a fucking job, but you really want to police. You should.
Actually, we all work some type of job, right? There's some type of metric system, right? Like we have to meet some type of criteria, right?
Right, an agenda. We want to be compensated for our time.
We have a certain target we have to hit.
Public servants should come with certain packages, bro. That's how I feel. If you want to be in public service, you should have a fucking package. This is what you're getting. This is cut out because you want to be a teacher or whatever the case, or you want to work in public service. This is what you're getting. That way, you know right away, like, nah, I'm in it for the financial gain. That ain't gonna work for me, or nah, this ain't gonna work for me, or whatever the case is. But so how do you get into a policing position? And
what we need to do, we need to start implementing a better way of life for public servants, our teachers, our firefighters, our EMT, our police officers. We need to provide them better benefits
and better salaries to, because like you just said, if I ain't getting paid shit, I'm not gonna do shit.
Well, that, and if I ain't absolutely in it for the people, because like teachers, right? If I'm there and I'm there and I'm supposed to teach your kids and I'm in charge of your kids, there has to be a certain level of there's gotta be a way to weed out only in it for the compensation. If it's just a job for you, if you're really not in it to help, you don't need to be in that position. I don't want somebody that's there and they disgruntled every day because they don't get paid enough, or they don't live in a nice enough house, or they don't, whatever the case is. And now,
well, let's stay on that topic. Let's stay on that topic, right? You guys know me. I stay saying this. We are so deadbeat on how much money I can make for me, right?
That's society. Yeah,
how much can I do for me to make money for me?
Yeah.
And that is one of the biggest problems we are currently. You say what?
How can I do it for the gram today?
Exactly. Exactly. And that's what I'm talking about when I say legislations. I'm not just talking about, I'm talking about new taxes, new bill restructures, new social reforms. So when I talk about that, I'm just not talking about just like civil rights. I'm also talking about economics. It's such a marathon, because when you got people saying, fuck man, I ain't making enough today. Well, how can I cut the corner to pay rent? So we are reacting as a capitalist society right now, a crony. People are listening right now. Look up crony capitalism. That is what we're living at. And right now, law enforcement, they're undertrained. Their people are just trying to make money, and they are a racist foundation.
Power. They want a little bit of fucking power.
Exactly.
They want a little bit of say so over the dudes. They couldn't whoop their ass. So today,
they cover their pride, their egos on whooping ass because they can't make ends meet.
Yeah, you got a little aggression.
I'm not even gonna bail them out on not being able to make ends meet. I believe, it's me personally, Santana, believe that it ain't about not making ends meet. I think if they were making ends meet, they'd be out whooping ass.
Oh, well, yes, 100%. They are funded. They are funded by a racist foundation, 100%.
So that's what I'm thinking. More like, yeah, we can like give them like more of an ends to make, ends meet or whatever. Or I'm thinking more of like on the lines of like psychological evaluations and like, where's your head at? Like, why are you really here? Or
you know what I'm saying? So even aside from that, let's say you sneak through. I don't know. I've heard. They say he had strike after strike or red flag after red flag after red flag after red flag. He's still a cop.
Yeah, I bet.
Now again, if you apply that same logic, if you allow that to go on, if you allow a cop that had multiple infractions,
so let's keep it. Yeah, and remember I said, if they had a true metric, a true target, if they didn't meet a certain criteria, like every job in America, you had to hit a target, right? Mm-hmm. If you don't hit this target, you lose your job, or you do not get promoted, or you don't get pushed,
whatever, right? I think the playing with the numbers shit, the numbers game. We don't like that numbers game, but I hear you. I absolutely believe you. I mean, I'm with you with that. You gotta have a certain standard to stand by in order to continue to be certified.
You need an incentive.
Yeah, exactly. Police, but listen,
they have a power trip. They are legacy behind racism.
Yeah,
their legacy is racism, and their legacy is power trips. They have no metric system. They have zero.
They're not incentivized.
They don't need to solve a extra. Think about a cop had a survey. Every profession in America has a survey. How did this person do good for you?
I think they got rid of that. I think some states got into and this is just to Brandon. I think they got rid of that turning off the body cam thing last week.
Last week. I hear you though, bro.
Yeah, Brandon Fletcher to say something.
how can they turn off their body cam without termination? Absolutely. That if you turn off your body cam, that's a metric. You turn off your body cam, boom, that's termination.
Yeah, I think they just. I think certain. I want to say it was Chicago or something like that. Just put that in place.
New Jersey, Camden.
Yeah. Okay. So one of them definitely just put that in this week.
Ain't that where Chuck from? And Chuck say he's from Camden.
They implement that. If you turn off, if you turn off your cam. Also, Australia implemented that law as well in Australia in their police reform. So Australia does have technology that shows that you physically turn off your police cam. When you do that, you get suspended, under reviewed, you get reviewed, either you get fired or whatever. So Australia, guys, look that up. Australia implement that as a country.
There you go.
Implement.
Carlos, what up, bro? Long time no see.
What's going on? What's going on, Dwight? What's going on, bro?
How you doing? Good. Pat, Carlos, Mike.
What's up, Carlos? How you doing?
What's up, Carlos? It's cracking.
Pretty good, man. Pretty good. Yeah, I just pulled in the crib, bro. So
all good. So welcome to the podcast. Appreciate you coming through. What we were talking about just a second ago?
We were talking about holding police to a strict standard, like a metric system. Like they have to meet targets. They cannot.
He was talking about the over policed areas. That's right.
Oh yeah, well
over police.
Pretty much what I was just Yeah.
I mean, like if you kind of go back to, where we came from, Dwight, Woodridge, Downers Grove, you know what I'm saying? Woodridge was a whole different ball game from Downers Grove, you know what I'm saying? And that's just suburbs, but you had a lot of cats.
Bolingbrook.
Yeah, Bolingbrook.
Man.
You had a lot of cats that was like, we were talking about gentrification, cats that were kind of displaced from the city, you know what I'm saying? And from the projects or whatever, and they got moved out there, maybe on Section 8 or whatever. I was one of them cats. And but they basically stayed on our block, you know what I'm saying? They stayed in our community. They stayed on us, man. And
you think that you talking particularly Woodridge, right? You think that made the neighborhood better, right?
Yeah, I mean, like I'm originally from Maywood, you know what I'm saying? So, like Maywood, the same thing, bro. Like I just saw it.
Your volume went out, bro. I think you're coming back.
There you go.
You might have to put them AirPods in. No, you got them.
I think he broke out.
Yeah. I can't hear the volume or whatever. But yeah, no, I get it. But that's part of what I was saying anyway, as far as like lawn care.
Everything ties together.
Yeah, it all ties together. Education and stuff. When you put police that are over policing and that are overlapping and their presence is there, of course it's gonna limit crime. And then you do the same thing with the lack of liquor stores in the suburbs on every corner, and the lack of gun stores, and the lack of the rest of it. You're gonna have a better environment. You're gonna have a better quality of life, the better parks, the better things, the recreation, the cities, and the access to them things. Anytime you have access to these things, you're gonna have an advantage. And when you don't have that, because I remember growing up in the projects, I remember the choke sandwiches. Chicago people know what I'm talking about. I remember the block of cheese. I remember the no grass outside. I remember the syringes and stuff in the park. I remember the parks being fucked up, trash everywhere. I remember all of that. You know what I mean? Like, and shit, if to go back to what we learned a long time ago, the fact that they call them project was like we was an experiment anyway. It was like, let's see.
Hey, what the host say? They call it a project because it's a project.
Yeah, it's a project. So I mean, you sit there and you can't tell me that you didn't have the funds to make it better, make it, a quality of living, to have the grass, because when you tore that shit down, it took money. And when you moved us out, it took some money. And when you rebuilt, it took money. And now you're keeping it up and it takes money.
Yeah. I mean, you look at some of these areas, man, like I do a lot of traveling for work, right? So South Central LA, whatever, that area was big into oil. oil production. They made a lot of tires out there, a lot of, like the Goodyear plant, whatever. They took a lot of them jobs, man. When the jobs left, when the jobs left, you know what I'm saying? Then the school started, the money left to build up the community, and all the government money that was coming in was going straight to the police department. You know what I mean? So then you have cats out here. They took away all the resources, right? And we have issues in the Black community, if not more than in other communities. And they took all the resources as far as mental health, you know what I'm saying? All of that stuff, they took all that stuff away. And now you got cats, like you said, living on the street. They taking down, homeless shelters and whatnot. All those people just going to jail, bro. You know what I mean? They just policing them guys.
Get rid of the job. Everything boils down to opportunity and resources, right?
Yeah.
So, if you don't have the jobs, you don't have to, and I think I said this on the last podcast, I might not have, but you got to keep telling me, if there's no money, if there's nobody with a passport, if there's nobody that's been outside of their community, and I'm talking specifically in, these Black underprivileged poverty-stricken, where are these guns and these drugs coming from? How the fuck can you afford it? How the fuck did you reach that? How did it get here?
Yep.
You have to, you know what I mean? And I'm not a fool. I know a lot of people that have never been off the block, but when there's no job and you have a choice and you got to eat, shit, I've been there. Yeah. I consider myself a good dude. I know a lot of cats with good, took penitentiary chances because I don't really have a fucking choice at this point. Which also goes back to the ride and everything else. Like, how many times do you think people are going to sit around and ask you for change before they start burning your shit down? I can only ask.
Yeah, it's back to, our academic teaches capitalism, right? We want 1% of people, and these 1% of people happen to be the ones who implemented these legislations. They happen to be the ones that implement these social reforms. So yes. So and I want to comment on the protest and rioting, if that's okay with you guys.
Go ahead.
Because I think that needs to be addressed, because a lot of my fellow kinsfolk, my fellow white folks, it is very lazy to compare rioting to violence. It's very lazy to say that. Because there's three things we need to consider. One, we're during a pandemic, right? People don't have necessaries.
We got the greatest unemployment in the world.
Exactly. Trump is, don't get me started, that's a different podcast. I'll destroy him for hours.
For that. That's your president.
Yeah, that's a different podcast. I'll eat him up. I'll destroy that man.
Don't do that. That's
economics, different podcast. Oh, fuck it. Don't get me started.
Calm down.
All right. So first thing, right? Pandemic, right? People don't have necessaries, and that use of stimulus was a waste of time. It actually made things worse. Second thing, we had multiple crises going on, and the crisis was going on. We had unemployment. We had a lack of equity, right? The disparity between income of the Black community versus the white community. So white community had money. We had more money. It's facts. So the disparity of the income was huge. That's why white people were comfort during the pandemic. So this is economics. So one, pandemic. Two, the disparity between racial and in the income and jobs. And three, you had the government who refused to literally to implement funding and loans for small businesses. So when white people say, well, you shouldn't riot, rioting does not equal violence. These were people, a lot of people you saw who go in these buildings, what do they gather? They didn't get PlayStations. They didn't get fucking TVs.
Hey, some of them did. They got big screens. I seen them.
Yeah, got a few brick phones out there right now.
They got diapers.
Yeah, a lot of them.
They got baby formula. They got water.
Bigger TVs than mine. I got a big TV.
Whatever.
And they ain't pay nothing for it.
I'm sick of you, Dwight.
Still mad about that, man. I hate them people.
So my comment on the writing, I feel like white people are so lazy and they're very ignorant.
Wait. White people wasn't riding? Damn.
Yeah, I was gonna let him finish. I was gonna let him finish his point.
100%. 100% they were.
All right, I was just checking.
I'm talking about the universal.
Whites.
Yes.
I got you. Not the truth.
They were commenting, acting like these people weren't actually going to stores to get necessaries, get needs. So I feel like I need to comment on that, because if you actually see people, they're getting things to live. Because if it didn't happen now, if this didn't happen, let's be real. If George Floyd never happened, we're gonna riot eventually because people are broke.
Yeah.
So people need. So my fellow white people need to acknowledge that. Like, if George Floyd didn't happen, your ass would be rioting too, because your ass is broke as well. And I feel like it's very ignorant for white people to comment on rioting. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. I'd agree with that. I mean, I think that's a good take on the opportunity it provided for people to get some basic needs, and then obviously for some people to have some nice shit that they probably wouldn't have ever had. You know what I'm saying? But I think when you look at the response to George Floyd, we have to take the spectrum and look at the spectrum, right? So there's nonviolent protests, whatever, march, whatever,
really about the movement.
All the way up to rioting, looting, and then there's like the far extreme, which I think has diluted. Yeah, but I think some of it has diluted and played into the hand of the enemy, which is, how do we disarm them of their message? Right. Yeah. So if you get some anarchists, you get some cats in there involved that's burning up shit on our behalf that ain't really us, but we broke and we like, oh, that's, it's like brother saying, it's opportunity, like brother saying in the hood, like, opportunity. If this brother get up and run for no reason, shit, I'm gonna get up and run too. I'm not gonna ask no questions. Yeah. So if I see the target busted in and people running out with it, I'm gonna follow suit, especially if I'm in dire straits.
Yeah, what you're talking about is the scene in what you're talking about is the scene that everyone, I'm gonna say this again, everyone, because I always preach perspective. Everyone, white, black, etc., loved in Pursuit of Happiness when Jaden Smith told Will the story about the bull. And it's only so times that, you sit back and you pray for change, or you pray for that TV, or you pray for some income, or you pray for that tissue that you couldn't get during a pandemic or whatever the case, and you don't have it. And the joke of the shit was, God said, I sent you a bull, you big dumb. But it was an opportunity for some people that weren't necessarily on the George Floyd train to get some shit they might have wanted to do.
It was such a little percentage.
Absolutely. And it's not limited to one person. But again, that shit also, what it is with the rioting and it being placed on the, for lack of better term, because I don't really ride with that, whatever, but Black Lives Movement, what it is it's the equivalent of back in the day when they they loved our music, but they didn't want to listen to it. So they would have Elvis or somebody redo it so they could listen to it.
Exactly.
Yeah. It was going to happen.
B. Simone.
Make it out of here. I don't even know her.
I only know her from Wild 'N Out. I'm gonna keep it.
I don't even watch that, but
I watched that.
Elvis playbook.
Oh, you stupid! Yeah,
times 1,000 though. Times 1,000.
I like that. It's me telling you, oh, that shit is no, that'll never get played here. But then, you give it to a white artist, and the white artist sings it, and now, you still a shine from the black, whatever. Because
Virginia Records.
Because writing is so different than what they said. You can see so many. Now, granted, it went on longer, but you can see so many times where a hockey championship or some shit was won, and they flip over cars and they standing in the street and they do, and it's all right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, our sports team.
It's a narrative.
Like, yeah,
It's a narrative.
Exactly. My team just won. I can do this. I should be able to do this.
But don't spill a cup of water when you want some change in life, though. Don't do that.
Right. Don't get baby formula for my baby. Don't get diapers for my kids. Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean. But I mean,
manipulating the narrative.
Context. I don't condone. I don't condone any of it. You know.
I'll be honest with you guys. I'll be honest. I couldn't care less if someone was riding.
No.
That shit don't.
Everybody plays. I think everybody has a role to play. So when I say that, I mean I know it's gonna happen. Do it. Do you?
It's the spectrum. It's a spectrum, and you have to be. You got to be okay with the part you play.
Yeah, that's it. I mean?
Whether
it's always like in Carlos.
Carlos, that's a very good point. Carlos.
I know all of y'all can attest to it. There's always somebody that's saying, "Well, what are you doing? Are you out there with them?" Like, bro, that's not my.
I think we need to talk about this. I think this is a very important topic.
Yeah, like my answer to that, like, if I was, like, that's my personal. If I was, you know what I mean? Like, then what?
You want me to go out there with a picket sign or some shit that I made and take a picture? Now I'm suddenly a little bit more into it because I got that photo op. Like,
don't get me started on that.
So I think this is a very important topic. I feel like a lot of people are looking for social media validation.
We know this.
I need you to show me that you did something.
Yeah.
And
or I need to show
there's so many people who works behind closed doors. They're not gonna post about it.
Hey, Pat, I need to show you how down I am with the cars. Let me go down here. When they riding, I'm down.
Right. Right. Well, you got to schedule it. That's what I'm saying. It's like it's
you to know that I'm.
It's corny.
Yeah,
it's corny.
You know what I mean? I said we're gonna keep it real. Let's keep it real. Like a lot of it is the attention shit. A lot of it is I seen this shit. I posted it. The twerking for justice.
I saw that, man. Like, what are you doing, bro?
Out of here, yeah, bro.
If you don't,
you trying to go viral. You trying to go viral with this.
All right, listen, Pat. Come on, come with it. I know you.
Let's be open minded. Let's be open minded, right? And someone told me, they're like, let them be them, right? If they're going for the cause, let them be them, okay? So if people want to be foolish, if they're doing it for the right cause, whatever, do you?
So you think somebody? So listen, you think, and I'm gonna ask you honest a question. I want all y'all hear me with this. Let's just pause for a second. You think someone twerking for justice has a good heart and is doing it for the movement? Man,
if that's the best she got, though, I mean,
Carlos,
I'll just play. That might be the best she got, you know.
It might be, but that's facts. That's for the. We don't know what that's for. That's for.
Hey, put it this way.
That's for views.
Put it this way. Ain't nobody at the strip club because of coronavirus, man. She got to make the paper something.
And the cops was watching her, so they couldn't watch the movie.
Yeah, so go ahead and get that TV while go ahead and get that TV while she busting it open.
Get that young lady.
I mean, that might be some reform. You know what I'm saying? Might be some reform. Like, bro, why you? You know, like, why you all up on them like that? Chill, you know. Watch this.
Hey, fam, you still need somebody taking care of the spectrums.
Hey,
she taking care of the spectrum, dog.
I can see it now. I need you to twerk over there in front of them cars while I run.
Save my life. Save my life. You better start twerking that ass.
Faster.
I don't know. I'm just different, man. I can't see myself running like shit's burning down. And I grab my photographer, I grab my team, and I'm running in front of AutoZone. Like, hold on, wait, like, all right.
Nah, they went out there. I think you told me that. You said it was.
I did. I seen it. It was like the first day one.
Behind that, bro. There's money behind that.
You just said it. It's all views. It's all a look. Like I don't know, man. That shit is wild.
Well, I think the most important thing is that people should not look for validation online. If you're not posting, it doesn't mean you're not doing something. I think that needs to
wait. On the other hand, I'm talking the shit I'm talking, but in this day and age, yes, it does.
I don't.
I promise. If you don't post, cause how we are, you got to post what you think now. You got to come out and say something because they looking for you.
Some way, shape, or form. At some point, you're right.
They were sitting on Kanye before it's found out that he did what he did for George Floyd died. Everybody wanted like, why is he so quiet? That's why everybody's coming out. On the other hand,
I don't agree with that.
I can't never.
I don't agree with that.
I'm telling you, I mean, you might not agree with it, but we live in the internet age, though.
Let's talk about that then.
We live in a social media age at the same time.
So what if someone who doesn't use social media? You gonna condemn them?
No,
but everybody does. All the people. I'm not condemning them.
I'm trying to make. You can't condemn people because they don't make a social media post.
Hold on, Pat. No,
we do though. We can't, but we do.
What you do
not
is
me, not you, not Carlos, not De Niro. But
I'm trying to bring. We shouldn't condemn people just because they don't use social media.
No. Listen, what it is what I'm okay. Bring it back. It's not that they don't use it. What it is if you are somebody that posts all the new Kodak Black songs, all the Kanye songs.
So an active user.
You love our culture.
Well, that's fine. No, I don't disagree with that. I don't disagree with that. Active user.
That's odd.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. I don't disagree with an active
level. It's what it is. If all of this is going on and you've had so much to say about B. Simone or Meek Mill and you don't say shit about George Floyd,
that's why I'm at.
That's where you lose people. If you can continue to eat your salad, if you can continue to move on with your day and not address some shit that's right in your face, like it's nothing, like just popping your lip while singing in the car, and you have nothing to say, then that's an issue. But I don't believe that you have to say anything. I believe that if you just be silent when you're an avid user.
100%. I do not disagree with that.
That's why
100%.
If you, like they said, if you're a white girl that loves black men and you have nothing to say about this black man suddenly, nah, you got to go.
You out here TikTok and all these rap songs and shit.
Yeah, like, don't come back.
What you got to say?
And you know what I mean? I need that to be the truth. Like the Justin Bieber's and the Miley Cyrus. If you can come use our culture to make money, just like the owners, if you can come use these players and talk to these players and do all these things.
Well, let me. So you guys are bringing up like high profile people. I want to bring it down to more of a micro level, right? So you have a lot of people. And when I say a lot of people, I'm literally meaning like
everybody
white people.
Facebook is everybody. But go ahead.
Yeah, everybody. They're attacking other people because they haven't made a post recently. Remember what Chappelle said? Have you seen my stand-up? I've been talking about this for years.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So I feel like a lot of people they don't know their audience. You have a weird trend that they're like, well, I need you to say this now. Like, well, I've been saying that for years. I'm trying to attack at a different angle.
No,
so
I agree with you there. I didn't post the blackout shit. And the reason why I didn't post the blackout shit and the black shit, because I don't believe in, and I'm tired of watching the trendy shit. I hate it. I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, that's a pet peeve of mine. I don't like the trendy shit. I don't like the moment or for the moment people. Again, anybody that looks at my resume or my
that's my issue. Correct. That is my issue.
I'm the first one to tell you in any of these things, live streams and stories that I tell, I've never been, and I'm not going to sit back and act like I'm the picture of perfection. I know what led me to X, Y, and Z. I know the changes that I made as a man and growth, and I'm here. But what I talk about and what I do and the work that I put in is going to speak for itself. Everything else.
You know what I told somebody? I said, you want me to be Mel Gibson and Braveheart, but you miss my executions.
You're Brad Pitt.
You missed my executions all these years. You want to be Mel Gibson and Braveheart. Fam, I got to attack at a different angle now.
Absolutely.
I can't keep
if everybody else is doing it, that's cool, man. I'm really, like I said, I've never been that person though. Like, I don't have.
You felt that, huh, Carlos?
The trend.
So what?
That makes sense, huh, Carlos? You must be in the same boat.
Yeah, man. My perspective is, like Dwight said, if you rocking with us, when times are good, you got to rock with us when times are bad.
100.
So it's not really so much for me about the exploitation of our culture, and because we know that's happening, right? You know, everywhere you go, you know, we on commercials, our music are in the background.
Yep.
We all in the there's not a sport out here. You go to NASCAR, we in NASCAR. I mean, we're
But,
everywhere.
you know, on a smaller,
But,
go ahead.
yeah.
On a smaller
No,
level,
but
on a personal level, how I feel, all the celebrities, the music, and all the rest of that aside, on a personal level, yo, if you are somebody that can come on my post and heart and love and, you know, care for my son so much and want to see him grow and all of these things, or you just on my friends list watching him and you have nothing to say or don't give a fuck and you silent, that's when I get rid of you. Because at the end of the day, what you're saying to me is it's like fake love. Oh, he's so handsome, he's cute, oh, your family done. And then the issue comes and it's nothing. It's like, yo, you forget that's a future black man. That is a kid that can be gunned down like Tamir Rice in the middle of the street. And you're telling me that you wouldn't have a fucking thing to say about my son. Or if I was to be gunned down.
Let me be, hey man, let me be devil advocate on that. Can I? Did you ask them this how they feel?
I don't need to. If I didn't ask you how you felt, if I don't ask you how you are, how do I put this? If you voluntarily jump out of there to talk about, oh, Kanye, he just released this ugly shoe, that's not important.
No, we're not talking about celebrities. We're not talking about. I'm talking about.
You talking about Yosef? Yeah, I'm following.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. On the personal level,
If
if you volunteer, I can't wait to see your son, or bring him over here with my kids, or let me babysit him or whatever, and you have nothing to say, I don't have to ask you shit. What you're saying when you ask to watch my son or be in my son's life, or even just to be on my Facebook friends and be that, interact. Like once I know you're not of this cloth, I delete you.
Yeah.
It's just
so. Let me.
I shouldn't have to.
Let me throw a different perspective. Right. I made a mistake last week. One of my ex-girlfriends, she's from Togo, Togolese, right, West African. She sent me a video on like racism, and I'm like, Rufine, you know me. I've been fighting and combating racism ever since you know me. And I snapped. I'm like, I don't need to be educated. I've been doing this since my whole adulthood. What I failed to realize, she didn't know how to express herself. That was her, because she's very quiet. That was her way to communicate that during the movement that she's trying to connect with me, because she knew that I've been against the fucking racism and the uselessness of the nationalist mentality of white people. So, wrapping to the main point, when someone says, Dwight, your son is beautiful, I can't wait to be a grown man, he's going to be handsome, he's beautiful, they might be a way of expressing themselves that they support you, but they just don't know how to express themselves, and that's the only way they can do it.
No.
Let me chime in. Please.
You said that I had a problem with. Two, the first one was in your example. The first one is you failed to realize and mention that while she was trying to connect to you and you felt that you have been doing this your whole adulthood, we've been doing this our whole life. And then second,
whoa, time out.
No. What I'm saying
that's
is
not the first you made that statement. That's not what that statement meant.
No. I'm saying your actions. I'm saying your actions. What it is in the conversation, what I'm saying is, even if you didn't in a direct way say that, your actions when somebody, like if I come to you and I talk to you about racism, like even in this podcast.
No. Let me bring more context. Hold on. No. It's my fault. Let me bring context. That's my fault. Let me bring context. The context was like, share this to your white friends. That's what it said on the post.
Right. And what I'm saying is the hesitation. See, you may have felt, whether that was your ex-girlfriend or whatever, right now, all right, bottom line is what I'm saying, and I'm going to get to the point. The bottom line is what I'm saying is you can take time off from it. As a white male, meaning you feel like you don't have to always post, and it's not always your fight, or you don't have to always fight her battle or our battle or say something, because you can take that time off. We cannot. The second I leave my house, and even in the house that I'm sitting in now, if I look out of my window,
That's not what we're talking about, Dwight. What we're talking about is her trying to express herself.
Right. What I'm saying to you is the fact that she had to ask you or felt that she was trying to connect with you and you did not, whether that's voluntarily or missing the point or whatever, did not correct or advocate for that or didn't know how.
But what you're saying is not true. You're not making a correct statement about me.
You can take time off.
No, about me. What you're saying is, well, Pat. No, Pat is trying to tell her, hey, I've been fighting all the time.
Right.
You need to share that with people who don't understand. You need to educate people who are your friends.
Right.
Because I'm the one who's educating those two people.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's
So
what
when you make that statement,
I'm saying that she wanted you to do that and you hadn't done it yet. Correct?
No, I have. 100% I have. 100% I have.
I'm saying you do it on a regular, but at that point in time where she was
there's people out there that's not doing it.
Right. And
Correct.
That's the issue.
So basically my statement with her, you need to share that who don't get this. I'm a comfort, I'm safety for her. Don't send that to me because I'm already sending that to other people who's not comfortable.
Right.
Yeah,
I hear you.
So I see what both of you guys. I see what both you guys are saying, and I'm in the same boat with both, right? So like for me, if somebody posts some slick stuff, because I'm out here in Arkansas and I get a lot of that, where they posting slick stuff, I'm going right into the Discord. See the issue, and so where I agree with Dwight and where I disagree is, and what we as in the Black community, we have to stop looking for acceptance.
Exactly. That's my point. That's exactly what I'm saying. What I'm saying is it goes back to what I said about Drew Brees. With you, I've never, and she should have never, and you shouldn't have to feel that need for her to have to feel that you needed to reach out, just like they didn't need Drew Brees to advocate. I don't need that. I don't need it. I don't want it.
We gotta go direct.
Yeah, like it's on us. And then the second part that I was trying to say was whether she was asking or telling you to advocate or you were already doing it or whatever, the fact is, whatever bridge, the three of us right now with the platform, black, white, male, or whatever, diversity aside, when we're done, you can still take the time off and we can't look at you to say, hey, did you spread the word or look back and say, hey, did we reach a certain audience? That shit dead, fam. Like at the end of the day, what we did.
Well, that was never a debate. That was never a debate. I never debated.
I agree, but I was making a point, and I think I got lost in it trying to explain what I was explaining or whatever, the two things. But I forget the second part of whatever you were asking me now that we went around. But yeah, the bottom line to me it's just odd to me that acceptance things. What he said, I'm never looking. I'm never.
That's that validation I was talking about.
Back to your original question, which is like people that are silent, right? And for me, if you know whether you are active on the book or not, or social media or not, like we know that's the platform for us to communicate today. So that's the social norm today. 50 years ago, MLK, they had to go join up in a church. They had to decide what they was going to do. You watched Selma, right? So I just watched it the other night. So like, that's how they had to get things done. Now we're at a place where everybody can get touched. It's like somebody can't act like they don't see it. Like back when, the white community could be like, well, it just don't exist.
Right. This is my point, right? So this was back to my point, and this is going to be race aside. But if I reached out and I said to the racism part, if I said to Carlos, like, yo, your son is great at sports, and then he posts some shit going on with his mother, father, whatever, and I don't say shit, and then his son your son is good at sports. I'm picking. I'm deliberately choosing, and that's what I was saying about my son. You can't look at my family and love one part and not love all of it, because if you're asking me to bring my son,
you're assuming though, Dwight. Did you ask them?
I don't have to assume.
Did you ask them?
That's not an assumption. It's not an
But
assumption.
did you ask them? The point I'm trying to make, did you open that dialogue?
Why would I have? Listen, there's two.
If you said why you don't have to open it, so why are you assuming it?
No.
Let me say you shouldn't have to open it if it's somebody.
No.
If it's somebody that cares about your son like that, you shouldn't have to open it.
If it's on a positive comment, if I said, "Hey man, your son is doing great today. He's beautiful. He's great.
And then you disappear. And then you disappear. Shit happens. What does that say? If you're
not everyone's confrontational. You got to understand that not everyone reacts the same way.
There's
330 minutes.
No. Listen, I know factually. Let me explain what I'm saying. It's not like I understand you saying I'm making an assumption. I'm not. What it is you're picking and choosing when to care and when to interact. The reason why you wouldn't then jump into that situation to say whatever it is you need to say or voice your opinion the same way I didn't ask you to comment on my son. The same way you choose not to is you saying, whoa, I don't know about that one. Which means, and you're telling somebody without saying it indirectly, you're saying, I don't know. Let me, sit back and watch it. I'm going to give you a physical example. If somebody saw my son getting beat up in the street and they turn their camera phone on rather than help him, what are they saying? Do I have to assume that? Because if you see my son out,
but what you're talking about, but that's not anything near the comparison of saying on a Facebook picture. No, it's not.
Listen. It's the same. I'm gonna tell you why it's the same. Because the fact of the matter is, if you're a good person, you're a good person. You're a good person. You're a good person. Who you are is who you are. We see it.
Not all good people.
I don't know you. I grew up with Carlos. I know Santana. I talk to him every day. I don't know you, so I can assume right now what I know from you just off of your post. I can assume you with the culture. When you turn the camera off, I don't know, right? So that's just off of what I know.
You probably guessed right.
Right. So listen. So am I going off intuition? Am I going off what you're showing, or do I know?
You're going off my actions. You're going off my actions.
So now, so if I'm only going off actions, if I can only judge you off actions, and we all know, just like championships and everything else, you're only as clean as your last action. You can be squeaky fucking clean, and then fuck up, and you're a fuck up. It only take one time. And all I'm saying to you is, hey, listen, if you can go out of your way to address certain things.
So let's okay, you made a very valid point. Now let's stay with that, right? Have you ever met a very passive, very, not a very sensitive person that doesn't like confrontation?
I'm one of them people.
So Patrick, so like,
I don't like confrontation.
let me cut in on this one, guys, because like I think, and I'm just going to give my experience after the George Floyd incident. It's something that really blew my mind. I have people that I've only been in Arkansas since 2011, so I'm going on close to a decade. I have people that have had all like the spectrum of responses to the George Floyd incident, Black Lives Matter, and the protests and everything. But the most surprising thing that's happened is people reaching out to me personally, calling me, saying, hey, man, I just want to let you know I care about you. I'm here for you. I'm in your corner. Is there anything I can do? Hey, I'm XYZ executive at this company. We're trying to do these initiatives. Can you give me some feedback? Like this. And then I have people that send me a message, or people that post on my comment, post on my thing. And then I do have folks that are silent and folks that are in my circle, very close to my circle, that haven't said anything. That's where I think the white is,
listen, how do you, my question and my point in all this is not saying that they're complicit or whatever the case is, or they're bad. What I'm saying is, how did you notice that they were silent? It's because they spoke before.
Right. Yeah, and that's what and then you got
that's the only point that I'm making is if you will
have dissension from the whole thing, you know what I mean? They not with it at all, and they're posting slick stuff. So that's what I'm saying. It's a spectrum. It's that silent majority, right? Because the thing that shocked me was people reaching out to me like, hey man, like we got your back.
And it's the same thing. It's the opposite. The reason why you noticed that they reached out is because they probably never addressed that or had that conversation with you before. Or maybe not even reached out in that manner.
Never.
So that's my point. We're saying the same. That's what I'm saying. Like if I notice,
that's crazy.
If I notice that you have so much to say, and I'm not even just equating this to race.
But that's a different situation what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about because what I'm talking about right now.
Yeah,
what I'm talking about is I notice people, and again, if we move away from this topic alone, I have physical family members that I know will be on my post. Oh, I can't wait to see him, meet him, and then I come to Chicago, and they not moving. They don't have shit to say.
But then you're involving your personal experience in a little bit of a bias versus everyone else. That's not.
Nah, but check. Let me say this. Let me say this. From what I see, from how I take it, like whatever you do online, whether it's IG, main one is Facebook. All that shit is expression. Everybody, Facebook is who you are. Who your friends and who your friends you keep on that who you are, right? So you can't say
don't tell that to the South.
No, I'm gonna tell you can't like be in my circle say you cool with me, you cool with my kid. You talk about issues and everything you put up is like I'm seeing posts where you like I might be talking to people I don't give a shit today. I'm feeling like that, but you might put up what some corny niggas is talking about on some all lives matter shit. So you try to use us to get your message, get your bullshit across. You know what I'm saying? I've only had on my hand 2 people, 2 white dudes. Yeah. One is sitting under me on here, Patrick. And another one's in the comments, Michael Fitzgerald, that say like, yo, like I see what's up. I understand what's going on. I might have been part of the problem, whatever. So Facebook is expressing to me. So if you quiet on this shit, you had zero to say about what happened to George Floyd or any of these black dudes just getting done wrong and shit.
You don't have to.
Everything to say about a window getting broken.
You don't have to.
Let me. I
don't gotta fuck with you then. So I'm like,
let me clarify. I think we're all talking about different things. What I'm saying is, people are doing actions, are just not posting about it.
That's
my posting about it.
That's not what I'm talking about.
That's my stance.
Yeah, no.
Just because so like I know, guys. I work. I'll tell you guys. I work for Verizon. I work with so many millions of people. Right? There's people that I know. They only use social media to say hearts and love to pictures. Right? But they'll never post. I've seen people who hasn't posted in 10 years. But they're doing actions behind closed doors. They're just not seeking validation.
My point is,
those are the ones
I'm talking about.
We ain't talking about them though.
That's what I'm saying. I think I'm not. That's what I'm saying.
But what I'm talking about is I'm talking about that person that texts you all the time, and it's like,
which makes sense.
You got me. You got me on that $5. You got me, man. Where you at? You know what I'm saying? What's up, cuz? What's up? Whatever. And then when you give them the $5, they can't suddenly text you. That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about
the active silent majority.
Don't have my number. You suddenly
active silent majority is perfect.
You can't reach me. You don't know where I live. I can't contact you. That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about you being so vocal, you being so out there, you voluntarily throwing yourself out there about everything else that don't matter about shit, and then I can't reach you or you can't reach me. That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about that person that you know is vocal. That you can see is active and they don't have shit to say to you. That's what I'm talking about. Like that to me leaves a bad taste in my mouth. That to me says you are.
Which I agree, 100%.
Yeah, that's 100%.
100%. I agree to that. We're just on different pages, and that was my bad.
Yeah, I think what Dwight's talking about is that active silent majority.
Yeah, no. If I don't have no problem. If silent, I won't know.
They not.
Yeah, no. If you silent,
posting and talking about all the fuck shit.
I was my bad. That was on me.
Yeah, no,
I was talking about people who are not active on social media and they're getting blamed. I'm like, these motherfuckers were never active in the first place.
No.
We talking about the ones we see. We see you posting.
That's not.
We see you posting and talking about everything else.
I'm never. Again, like I said, if you're judging off the social media shit, I'm not the black. What was it? The Blackout Tuesday, Blackout whatever. I'm not that guy. Like
I did it.
Listen,
I'm all of that.
The reason why I did not do it is because
I'm black this and black that.
I'm gonna do it again on Juneteenth.
What was it? Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter.
Oh, we went shopping. Yeah. We barbecuing Juneteenth. Believe that. I'm posting that shit too.
Well, what is the correct response? That might be a whole other thing right there.
I think that's a good question.
Way to acknowledge Juneteenth, because it's not a celebration.
It ain't.
Man. Because it's not.
I think it needs to be a damn education.
You know what I'm saying?
That's a whole different conversation we're gonna have to have.
The education, cool,
Yeah,
y'all.
we
I
gotta do that another
want
day.
fireworks. I want barbecues. I want all that pretty shit we get on the floor. I'm saying, I want all of that shit. I want shit popping off.
Hey,
That's what I want.
I'd love to talk about that. Let's use that different episode. That's
you can check my timeline. I've been talking about Juneteenth for years now, yo. This ain't shit new.
Bro, what's the proper way to,
That's a great question.
To celebrate?
I want to talk about different
episode. But go ahead.
I mean, from Santana's point of view, we do that every holiday, even the ones we don't believe in.
Oh yeah.
Especially my holiday.
You just got to give us a reason to barbecue.
That's it. And I said, like, it literally took me up until like
we doing that barbecue fireworks.
Right.
I'm there.
Yeah, it took me to like 5-6 years ago to realize,
people want to be happy. People want to be
celebrating, yo.
And barbecue and drinks make me happy
because people want to be happy. It's simple as that. We use holidays to be happy. It ain't that deep.
No, we find
it ain't that
No, that's what I'm saying. It didn't get deep to me till a few years ago. Though, when I sat back one day, like, yo, like, what are we celebrating?
It's little victories, bro. What it is we take what we can get, man. You know what I mean? If that
That's
means
it.
we gotta be there, we get away from it, we can do it. I don't like them people that say, "Oh, why you celebrating that?" Man, if you don't give me my time off, shut the fuck up. I'm chilling.
Whenever we can find a day to be happy, man, be happy.
I'm not listening to your ass today. That's what I'm not doing.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Well, ass over there. I'm eat this barbecue. Hey. Watch this. Hey.
King Carter.
Hey, youngster.
Hey.
Say hi.
Hey,
What's up, young man?
Say hi. What you doing?
You know, you come on the screen, you gotta do some push-ups. That's life.
Bird test. He's spoiled.
I know, man. He do some push-ups.
He's spoiled. Hey. Say hi. Say hi, Carlos.
What's going on, buddy? How you doing,
Carlos.
buddy? What's going on?
Say Santana. All right, fellas, we've been going for what? 2 hours and a half.
2 and a half.
2 hours and 30 minutes.
That's
2 and a half.
Anybody got any closing statements?
Yeah, man. I think the energy, the momentum is perfect right now. I think this is one of the most crucial times to use this energy and momentum to start running for local offices. We need Black leadership. We need Black leaders to emerge. Because at the end of the day, a white person will not pass legislations to fit the needs for Black people. This is the time to make a difference. That's my closing statements.
Yeah, I would definitely second that. We gotta want to run for our local offices like we want to run the ball and drop a rhyme or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's got to be that important to us. We got to find those cats in our community and raise them up, so they can be spotless and run for office and do good things, man. So anyway.
Listen, I don't agree. I got you, dog. I'm running next year for office, man. Don't even worry about it. I got you. Say less. Hey, we're going to continue the conversation, man. Y'all.
65% of Cook County ran unopposed. 65% of Cook County offices ran unopposed. 65%. That's not, guys, you all know I'm from Cook County too. That's Chicago. 65% ran unopposed.
Yeah, and that's fact. Let me then I wanted to shout out a couple brothers that's still back home. I think one's up in Dallas right now, but back home in the south suburbs of Chicago, man, we got my homeboy from high school, Shavante Floyd Nix. Need to follow him. He got Three Uncles Foundation, and he got Motor Block where he got young brothers going around doing like landscaping and giving them knowledge and stuff like that. And we need more of that, you know what I mean? And I also had one more, but I don't see his info, so I'll shout him out on the next one. But we do got some brothers out there doing something for the community, man. And we need to give them support.
Respect.
You know what I mean? Them the ones we need to support. That's where it starts.
Congrats, guys.
Starts with the youth.
Appreciate
that's what I got.
That's
awesome, man.
All right. Well, you know me. Follow me. Follow me at the Detour Game 7 Podcast.
Subscribe, Dwight.
Yeah.
Subscribe, guys.
All right, y'all. Be easy. Thank y'all.
All right.
Appreciate you guys.
Peace.